The third assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Now, admittedly, there were more plots, but this is the third actual attempt. Security camera footage showing this man, identified as Cole Allen, charging full speed into the White House Correspondents' Dinner before being subdued. And right on cue, you know, exactly what you'd expect. There are many people on the left that are saying it's staged, it's fake, no one believes it's actually real. And these people are not the majority, because when you check the search trends, my experience, I mean, I was out doing what one would call touching grass when all of this went down. I was actually at a bar and I saw people freaking out. The conversations were pretty intense. People are genuinely worried about this. And it's reasonable to believe that this lefty guy from California who wrote a manifesto saying he wanted to kill Trump and Trump administration officials tried to do it. Now, he's been charged officially with an assassination attempt against the president, which carries upwards of life in prison, as well as many other charges in D.C. We're getting new information as, of course, this story is developing. But we'll go through all of that, as well as a few other stories. But this one, obviously, is the big breaking news. And the interesting, fun element of the story, surprising to say, considering it's a horrifying story, is that people believe Trump is a time traveler. I know, right? I said it was going to be weird and fun, but there is a post online, a social media account with only one post from 2 years ago, the name of the shooter. The image, the profile picture, is a Pepe the Frog wearing a black tie, holding a glass of Chardonnay or champagne or something, and it looks just like Trump did in the C-SPAN video, I believe it's C-SPAN, of when this shooting started happening. Many people are saying this proves Trump is a time traveler. There's a lot more than just that element of it. 1 month ago, people found these old drawings from 100 years ago of an airship with a golden-haired man, a blonde guy, piloting it. An artist from over 100 years ago drew these weird airships with Trump written on them. And so, of course, this proves, according to conspiracy theorists, that Trump is a time traveler. But we'll break down the serious element of the story and then the serious nature of the left's response, saying that it's the right who's been violent. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Before we do, we got a great sponsor, my friends. It's Pocket Hose. You guys got to check out Pocket Hose, man. This thing's amazing. I'm excited to tell you guys about the #1 expanding garden hose. Their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. The #1 expandable hose in the world. Super lightweight, easy to manage, easy to store. Turn the water on, it grows. Turn the water off, and it shrinks back to pocket size. The Pocket Hose Ballistic is reinforced with liquid crystal polymer used in bulletproof vests, making the anti-burst sleeve practically bulletproof. And that liquid crystal polymer fiber is actually 5 times stronger than steel. Comes with a pocket pivot, which gives you total freedom of movement. At the spigot with 360-degree rotation, you move, it follows. And the water flows enhanced with an upgraded UV coating. So the hose looks new year after year. Re-engineered thicker washers that resist leaks. Pocket Hose carries over 100 patents worldwide. It's amazing. Now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text TIM to 64,000. That's TIM to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Again, text TIM to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Shout out to Pocket Hose for sponsoring the show. Don't forget, join us at timcast.com. We got some big updates coming, but you got to get in the Discord community. Tens of thousands of people hanging out, sharing news. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you're looking to start a project, you want to be involved, you got to check out timcast.com's Discord, because as a member, you're supporting the work that we do, and the community is supporting you. But you'll also get to call in to the uncensored portion of the show coming up at 10 p.m. So don't forget to smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight, we actually have a couple of guests hanging out. Of course, Blaire White is back.
Thanks for having me. Always fun to be here.
Who are you? What do you do?
YouTuber, podcaster, influencer, all of the above.
Right on. And we also have Adam Weiss.
Thank you. I have a communications company, AMWPR, CEO, Media Exposed. I host a show covering the media business. Boy, there's a lot to talk about this week. It's on Real America's Voice News, and I'm a publisher of Impact Wealth magazine as well.
We'll see about getting that microphone maybe secured for you if we get a chance.
Oh, is it falling down?
A little wobbly.
We'll get it. We can force Ian's here.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here. Good to see you, Adam, Blaire. Always a pleasure. It's going to be a great show. Hey, Brown, dude.
What's going on, everyone? Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We got some interesting stories over the weekend, although it wasn't too busy, but there was something that happened, I think, Carter.
I'm also hanging out, so let's get into it.
Something happened to someone.
There's some incident, something at a hotel, a bunch of reporters.
Bunch of people did some things.
But here's the story from the BBC. Suspect charged with attempted assassination of Trump at Washington dinner. Cole Thomas Allen, 31, was also charged with 2 firearms offenses. When he appeared in court in Washington, D.C. on Monday, he did not enter a plea. He was carrying a semi-automatic handgun, a pump-action shotgun, and 3 knives as he charged past a security checkpoint at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday, say prosecutors. The Secret Service agent was hit but not seriously wounded during the attack. Now, we do have this footage posted by Donald Trump. Many of you may have seen, but we'll play for you now. There it is. He runs full speed through. They go after him. Now, I believe he was mostly uninjured. The story is that as soon as Trump announced he'd be at the dinner, this guy booked a hotel room, checked in the day before. He wrote a manifesto outlining what his strategy, what his plans were, why he was doing what he was doing. I don't want to read the full thing. It's not really a manifesto, more I would call it a mini-festo because it's basically a half page. But he basically said who he was going to kill. And he said from the highest ranking to the lowest, Trump admin officials, including Trump himself, and that he'd be willing to kill anyone who got in his way. Strangely, for some reason, he said he would not kill Mr. Patel.
Yeah, what is that about?
I don't know. And Cash was asked about it, and he said he didn't want to answer the question.
Yeah, that's a weird.
It was, they had a press briefing today, and he was asked 2 questions, and then the reporter was like, would you like to answer to these? And he says, not the former, but the latter. And then he didn't answer why this guy was going to spare Cash. I don't understand.
This guy was like, he's already underwater with the Epstein stuff. I don't want to make things worse for him.
Right.
It's weird because in the manifesto, one of his main concerns was Trump being allegedly a pedo in his own words, which is, that kind of refers to the Epstein files, and like Cash Patel dropped the ball just as much on the Epstein files. So what is his,
He said, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. To be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. I want to just stress, without getting into great detail, there's 2 main reasons that you'll know this man is retarded. First, he tried to kill a bunch of people. Like, right off the bat, something's wrong with his brain. And the second thing is, in the stupidest way imaginable. This guy's saying it's the first opportunity he has is to try and run full speed into a heavily guarded hotel. That's like, he was never going to make it. This guy's really, really dumb. Right. There are people that are attacking law enforcement saying it wasn't secure enough. These people are failing to understand the layout of this building. You could not just run into the ballroom. He had to run around and go downstairs. It was a long corridor, and there was security at every layer. This guy is very dumb.
Well, Tim, if he wanted to get the officials, not just Trump, Blaire and I, like you said, we're living in simulation, right? It's kind of weird, the whole feeling we got. We walked to the front of the Hilton, said, well, let's take a trip. We're going to the White House correspondent and parties after. We walked to the very front to get into the actual, before we were getting to Hilton, there was a little metal gate, and they didn't ask for anything. They just said, I have an email going to a party. You walk in, and the lobby was filled, hundreds of people, right?
The lobby was a free-for-all.
Free-for-all, no metal. So then we go, you have to take one escalator down, and that was part of the step and read, the red carpet. And at the escalator, somebody saying, where are you going? We said, oh, we're just going to a pre-party. No ID, no proof, no metal thing. We go down, and that's where he ran in, the first level down. And that's where you see him running in, because there's an entrance there where the step and repeat is. So he's on the wrong level, because then Blaire and I go down one more level through an escalator, and there's all these pre-parties that start at 5:30, they go to 7:15, and there were hundreds. I mean, probably 1,000 officials, secretaries. If that guy really knew what he's doing, he wanted to hurt people, they never check for guns. They never check for weapons. He could have been in any one of those parties, right, Brie?
Took everybody out.
But if his goal is to go after Trump, he's not going to go to a party where Trump's not.
Right.
Right, but if he really wanted to cause damage, but there's no way he was going to burst in.
That's
to
why
the
I'm
lower
saying he's
level
dumb.
into the dumb, because
He wasn't trying to get random people at parties. He was trying to get Trump.
Although there was high-ranking officials that he said were targets at the Fox News party we were at, but
secretaries,
which I think just proves he was trying to get Trump.
Yeah.
Or he's just really dumb.
Or he didn't know there were all these parties with these big officials. You just
I don't think a guy who said in his manifesto he's not going to let a pedophile rapist coat his hands with his crimes would intentionally get caught at a party killing people where Trump was not. Like, his manifesto makes it clear that he wants to kill Trump. I don't think he's going to be like, let me not have that. Like, clearly he didn't go to those because Trump was not there.
Or it was a false flag which I don't think necessarily it was, or someone set that guy up to go do something to get the crowd to go, we need more martial law.
Well, here's the thing. So it's kind of surreal having been there and like kind of seen the situation and then going on my phone and like the whole world thinks it's fake. I don't necessarily blame anybody because there's been such a lack of transparency for the Butler shooting, for a number of things. So I think people's trust in the government institutions is just...
I don't think the whole world thinks it's fake. I think you're just looking at a bubble.
Maybe I'm in a
social
bubble.
media.
Maybe I'm in a bubble. Yeah. All I know is my mom, who's like super normie, even had the nerve to ask me, despite me being around it, be like,
I was
fake. I was like, are you kidding me?
I was at a bar when the shooting happened, and a bunch of people were just staring, like crowded around the TV, staring up at it, like, "Oh my god!" Like the general response that I saw it was Saturday night was not, "He's staging this." It was like, "I can't believe it happened
Yeah,
again."
I didn't think it was staged at first, and someone else said that it was a theory going around.
Even if he wanted to get, not purposely just wanted to get Trump, it was very insecure because we were in the ABC party, the Fox party, with the highest level officials in the government, and never once they checked for anything, right? No, never once.
But that's not uncommon. I mean, Trump officials go to parties all the time. Mar-a-Lago has light security. You could walk in the front door of Mar-a-Lago and walk around. And the worst thing they do is they say, "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?"
You just would think it would maybe be different, though, considering Trump's already had multiple...
Well, and I think the concern is
especially
the entire line of succession is there, right? Like if heaven,
In one
heaven forbid,
place.
heaven forbid something horrible happened, Chuck Grassley would be president right now.
What if
But
President
I
Trump
gotta stress
think
I gotta stress this again. He didn't get anywhere near the room.
we're living, and
So you're saying it was not very secure, but maybe outside wasn't. But this room, he didn't even get inside of.
right. If he was looking solely for the president, he didn't get. There's no way he was getting into that big ballroom
Yeah.
to get the president. But there was
He clearly didn't want to go after
really
other people,
high-level-
as he stated in his manifesto that he was going after Trump. So again, the question would be, why would he go to a room without Trump in it if he wants Trump?
But he also said in the manifesto he wanted to get Trump officials and high level officials.
If his motivation was, "I will not let a rapist and pedophile," blah blah blah, it sounds like the high-ranking officials are after the fact. So again, he's not going to go to an insecure room with random people if he wants Trump.
Did he get caught in the stairwell after this? Does anyone know? Is that
It's like you have to run around and go downstairs, and they got him right there. And you can actually see in some of the videos the stairs are to his left right there.
Oh, okay.
Right, and there were people upstairs that saw him like real close because in the ballroom down below you have to go up the stairs a little bit to use the restroom. That's why there's no in the bottom ballroom. So that's why some of the reporters were like, "I saw him and I heard him."
Yeah, Wolf Blitzer was right there. I was speaking to a gentleman who was like talking to Wolf Blitzer as the whole situation went down, and he's like, I thought they were targeting Wolf Blitzer at first because it was like literally right in front of him, as if he would have presumed that he was the target, and then it took him a few seconds to kind of realize like, oh, it's Trump thing.
This is so crazy because I was there in 2011. I've been to about 10 of these actual dinners, and I was there the night Obama just made him and Seth Meyers. They must have made about 10, 15 jokes towards Trump. The sitting president kept firing shots at Trump, and he didn't laugh at all. He was like, that's the moment that a lot of people said, that's when he said, I'm going to get revenge on all of them. And that's the same night that...
Well, that's why they didn't have a comedian, right?
Same night Obama ordered to go get Osama bin Laden.
They didn't have a comedian. And Carolyn Levitt said before that some shots are going to be fired, making reference to like, it's the White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? They have comedians come and they make jokes.
They wouldn't have one.
They didn't have a comedian. They had a mentalist.
And so they said shots are going to be fired tonight. And then we're talking about meme magic. I mean, maybe we'll pull this. Jimmy Kimmel said something about Melania Trump looks like an expecting widow, made a joke. And then like...
That's an insane joke,
I know.
by the way.
Yeah, and so shots fired is not an insane joke. It's just a joke.
That's not a joke. It's a turn of phrase.
Shots fired when someone says something mean.
That's not a
was
joke.
The night before.
Right.
That wasn't the day of. It was the night before in his monologue. He knew he was going into
Right.
D.C., and he purposely did that.
He did a fake White House Correspondents' Dinner speech where he said, "There's Melania. She has a glow like an expectant widow," indicating that not only would Trump be killed, but that she wanted him to be killed.
Yeah, and like, what's the punchline there? Like, hey, look, you look like your husband's about to die.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you doing here?
The joke he's making is that she wants her husband to die.
Right, and it's just like,
And it was
hilarious.
such
And if you're a psychopathic lib, then you're probably laughing, thinking like, "Yep," because they all cheer for this, and they're cheering for it now. And I think it was Van Jones actually who said, "This guy lived," which means the left will make him a hero like Luigi Mangione.
I wonder if this dude who's on this attempted shooter saw Jimmy Kimmel the night before and is like, that's it, I'm going.
No, he booked the room in early April.
Well, I just saw a
This
tweet
meme magic.
from him he tweeted after the Butler incident, or just recently or whatever, and said that the Butler incident was staged. So he goes and tries to do it for real, and he was one of the people who was publicly saying, "Oh, that one was fake." So he's like, "I'm going to do a real one."
Actually, I gotta lean into the it was staged thing, because then this guy won't be a hero. All the libs are he's gonna be like, yeah, Butler was fake, but I did this one thing. I'm like, no, you're a fed. He's like, no, I'm not. I swear, guys,
They were all fake. All of them.
Wait,
This guy.
could you imagine being a lefty who thinks you're gonna be a hero for taking out Trump, but then everyone thinks you're a fed who worked with Trump to help him out?
Right.
Because
for
that's
real.
what they're claiming.
He's not hot enough to be a heroic shooter
what
like
it is.
Luigi Mangione.
He was trying to be like Luigi. He thought like, he's probably getting no play, et cetera, et cetera. So he's like, you know what I'm going to do?
Shave that
I'm going to make a
mustache
scene.
right
I'm going to be the next Luigi. But he's so chopped that like I'm not seeing any chirping from the ladies. I think they're just like, oh, what a freak. That just shows Clavicular's right, by the way, because if he had like look smacks for a little bit, dolled himself up, you might be seeing a little bit different reaction.
If he was just like the Chad meme,
yeah,
women would be
just
like,
something.
oh, leave him alone.
Instead, like in this, I thought it was a homeless guy. I was like, what's going on here?
Well, Clavicular is right about that to a certain degree. Like, tons of women love serial killers,
Yeah, Halo effect's
Yeah.
real. That's like
He'll have 15
documented.
girlfriends by the time he leaves jail.
Now, I don't know about him.
Boyfriends, maybe.
But that was
for
the
real.
first time Trump went. He never went in the first term. He didn't go to Obama. He first time in 11 years, and he reached out. All his staff came with him, and then Carolyn Levitt was on the red carpet. I don't know if you saw this. And Brian Stelz, she's like about to pop any day now, and he starts attacking her before she even gets into the Fox party. He says, "Is Trump going to apologize for her vitriolic and demonizing of the media?" So this is before they were even. Gracious night. They come out. It's supposed to be celebratory and all be, joke around. He's attacking her on the red carpet.
It's just such an inversion. Like, is Trump going to apologize for villainizing the media? And it's like, what about you guys creating the situation where someone thinks they can go just like shoot the fucking president?
Well, take a look at some of this.
They'll stop blaming Trump for this, and it's all, yeah.
In response to this story, of course, we're getting a lot of people highlighting the left's call for violence. Katie Pavlich saying, outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the dude on the right hit me with his sign, and it says death to all of them. Yeah. You can see the sign on the left, death to tyrant, just one, not more than one. And this was posted about an hour after the shooting took place. We've got this clip of Hassan Piker going massively viral, and normally I wouldn't play a clip like this in the show because it is obscene and it's a call for violence. But I think it is the utmost of importance that you all hear. Hassan Piker is campaigning with Democrat candidates. He is being profiled by the New York Times. This is what he had to say.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill
As a
them.
result.
Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
That's just one clip from Hassan Piker that's gone massively viral, as the left has continually advocated for violence, even at this event. And my favorite thing, I want to make sure this is all clear to everybody, and you can share this with friends and family if they ever ask. They like to say the right is more violent. Most terror comes from the right. The truth is, the left is where most violence comes from. And I'll break this down for you how they lie with statistics. Charlie Kirk had an event. Look the video up. A guy is in line asking questions, and he's a white nationalist. And Charlie Kirk says, "Get out. You are not welcome here." And everyone claps and cheers. That's the right. They say no to extremist ideology. On the left, Hassan Piker campaigns with the Democrats, and he has advocated for murder multiple times. What they will then do is two things. We have seen this with the SPLC indictment. They will pay for Nazis to show up to conservative events so they can say, see, the right is Nazis.
Right.
Then, if some wackaloon white supremacist commits a crime, they'll say that's right-wing violence, despite the fact that identitarianism is prominent in the mainstream left. So if you have a guy who's a white identitarian and you're a black identitarian, you're something else. The mainstream Republican, conservative, and moderates in this country do not welcome violent extremists to their rallies the way the New York Times platforms Hassan Piker and the way Democrats put him on stage. So if you want to talk about where the violence is coming from, you've got fringe wacko elements of disparate ideologies, and then you have the mainstream left that says Hassan Piker's call for death and violence is acceptable on stage.
There's tweets that go viral every other day. I'll just be scrolling and it's like 200,000 likes. When will someone do it? Or alluding to taking out the president. And so it's like, for people saying that it has to be staged because who would do this? Who would actually, it's like, not the entire, but like a huge portion of leftist culture right now is assassination culture.
Yeah, that's why I think like most of and I'm not saying, it's not here or there if you believe in these things, but the people that believe in that all these recent assassinations or assassination attempts are staged, I think it's like cope ultimately, because like you're basically downplaying the real threat, which is that like leftists, your neighbors, quite frankly, literally would prefer for you to die. And that's like a really tough thought to wrestle with. Like that doesn't make you feel comfortable. That really kind of breaks the social compact. And so it's a lot easier to assume like, no, there's some shadowy figure that's actually orchestrating all of this. And like that actually brings you a bit of comfort. Like at least someone's in control. Yeah. But in reality, it's like, no, we're just rapidly descending into like score settling. And
it's almost like a trauma response. It's almost like it's just so scary to actually confront. It's just easier to be like, no, it's all fake. It's also intellectually lazy because it's not as if false flags don't happen. It's not as if conspiracies don't happen. A lot of them come out to be true. But I just wonder if the people who think that everything is fake, if they understand that they're just as irrational as people who think everything is real. Like people who just believe the narrative wholeheartedly all the time are just as irrational as people who think it's all fake.
But as Tim said, they've celebrated on the left their craziness. You have these women from Oklahoma, they call it I've Had It podcast. They say the most vile things towards conservative, wish them, the worst possible things, and it's normalized now from the left the behavior they do. And you see it, another attempted assassination. Where are the Democrats calling Trump and saying we can't have this in America? None of them, right? They don't call him. They don't go over to the White House and visit him. We've normalized craziness in our society.
Well, I don't think it's that we've normalized it. It's that the left is embracing it more and more. And I think the issue is, look, you got a nice little golden retriever and he's looking at you and he's wagging your tail and you don't really think twice about it. Then you got a ravenous, rabid dog screaming and snarling at you. You're like, I'm gonna stay away from that one. It's easy to reprimand the dog that's being nice and bop him on the nose. Mm-hmm. But that ravenous, rabid Rottweiler, you're not going anywhere near. And that's what we have in this country. Conservatives don't want violence, don't want people who advocate for violence. They denounce it. The left cheers for it. It really comes down to one simple question. If there's a run-of-the-mill regular person standing in the street and one person is wagging his finger at him, I'm gonna yell at you. The other person who's threatening to murder them, they're gonna say, I'm gonna avoid you. Please don't hurt me. That's what we get. That's Antifa. The cops, why do they let the criminals go? Why does Antifa get away with whatever they want? It's like I've said a million times. There is no fear from any of these big these big tech companies that Carl Benjamin will lead a bunch of post-liberals or classical liberals with pitchforks and burn down a social media headquarters. It's not going to happen. But it is a guarantee that Antifa will come with bricks and sledgehammers and kill people.
But the problem is the media. We're sitting here, reverse it if it was 9 years ago and 100 feet from the Hilton, those protesters were outside and say, kill all of them. And it was Obama was president. Oh my God, would every media be dousing every one of those people?
Yeah.
But yet we're talking about the signs and nowhere in the mainstream media. They're 100 feet outside lunatics with signs, kill them all.
Bethany Mandel's got this tweet about Katie Porter. She said, imagine Barack Obama surviving 3 assassination attempts and 18 hours later, Republicans sent a fundraising email like this. F Trump, Katie Porter writes. I'm Katie Porter. Some of you know me as the whiteboard lady who held CEOs and billionaires accountable in Congress. So today I want to start with one simple, powerful message we all agree on. Say it with me. F Trump. That's right. F Trump. Together, we're going to kick Trump's A in November. I mean, heck of a thing to send right after Trump was subjected to an assassination attempt.
Yeah. And, you may sort of hand waved it away and be like, that's just Reddit language. It's very Redditor language. But if you read the guy's manifesto that attempted the assassination attempt on Saturday, he literally opens it up like, hello, everybody. Like, it's like this, it's so glib. It's like, that's what makes it so disturbing. And so they're like literally rabid animals, but then they're like couching it rather, and like Reddit speak. And that's the most horrifying part. He's literally like, well, that just happened. Like, that's literally like the vibe you get when you're reading it. And this guy's actually intending on killing the president.
And he did it because his motivation is social acceptance. In his mind, Trump is all of these bad things. He is going to be celebrated by the left for what he did. I guarantee you right now, the joke we make, early on is actually funny. All these leftists are claiming that it was staged. So this guy who's thinking he's going to get celebrated is now being accused of working with Trump because people are nuts, I guess. Although that story makes literally no sense. This guy in his mind. Every day he opens up Reddit and what does he see? Trump is a pedophile, rapist, or otherwise. Erica Kirk is evil. The country is controlled by Israel. And so what does he do? He thinks, well, someone's got to stop him, right? This is what their rhetoric leads to. The problem is They live in that reality. You cannot remove them from that reality.
You kind of can. I talked to my dad earlier, and he's like, that Trump, he was pissed. And I was like, he's like registered Democrat. I'm like, okay, yeah, but the communists want a fascist crackdown. They want to piss you off and then the government to react so that they can then call their things, have their communist revolution. We talked about Saul Alinsky's rule for radicals. He was like, I hate communists. Like, he's old school, like Vietnam Navy dude. He wasn't in Vietnam. He was in the Navy during Vietnam. So when you talk about the communist revolution that wants to piss people off and get a fascist response, that's where they start to see it. They're like, oh shit, am I a pawn? Am I a foot soldier? I don't want a communist revolution.
That's not most people. Boomers understand Red Scare. Millennials, Gen X, they don't.
I was thinking today, like, what happens next is technocracy, whether we want it or not. It's either going to be a communist technocracy if this leftist crap takes over, or it's going to be hopefully an American technocracy with like free speech and gun rights and property rights.
Yeah, it's not happening.
You know, we'd have to build systems that are like advocate for American constitutionalism if we wanted to. Otherwise,
I've been having we brought up time and time again on this show my position, of course, that the Constitution does not exist. The Constitution is a figment of your imagination. And the reason I say that is because the Constitution, as we adhere to it today, is wholly different to what it was in 1850 and how. And I don't mean the Bill of Rights. I mean the articles of the Constitution. We don't even have our government functioning the same way based on the structure of government of the Constitution. The issue is half the country believes a Constitution that does one thing. The other half believes in a Constitution that does another thing. And they're arguing with each other about how they are the true heirs to the American fortune. You don't convince either side that the other side is actually correct, ever. It never happens. You will not convince an American constitutional Republican to give up their traditional view of the Constitution, nor will you convince a Democrat to let Republicans, aka fascists in their mind, take control of this government. These worldviews are incongruous, and they are large. It is a multicultural democracy and a constitutional republic occupying the same territory, and the end result is this, and I don't see how we get anything other than an escalation of it. And we've said it a million times.
Yeah, well, I mean, like a lot of the institutions, like I think this divide actually occurred a lot earlier than just the last 10 years. I mean, people have obviously, specifically on the left, have radicalized a lot more in the last 10 years. That's certainly true. But as far as like the core tenets of sort of both camps' ideology, those lines were drawn in like the 1960s. But I think like two things sort of prevented that from the actual divide to start like bubbling up was one, pop culture. Like we had like very sort of tangible middle ground kind of, we can break bread here. We can watch the Super Bowl like, oh, you're left, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican, but like we can break bread over this and it's not a big deal. But those sort of things started to get worse and worse and worse, just like quality wise. So then now you have like less in common. People aren't watching the same things, etc. And then B, obviously, I think Obama actually was the one that really sort of stuck his thumb in the wounds that already existed. I think that it had existed for 50 years at that point, and he stuck his thumb in there. And that just inflamed tensions dramatically, and that led to Trump, and now we're in this moment.
When I grew up in the 90s, I had a group called the Young Conservatives of Suffolk County Law, and then the Young Conservatives of New York, and we used to carry petitions to get people on the ballot. And then at the end of the day, we'd all go to this place called the Landmark Cafe. But Democrats, Republicans, we'd all get together and hang out. We were all friends. That society basically doesn't even exist anymore, right? And when I was really young, I was on a bus, and I remember, and Reagan was shot. And some reason, I was like, I was like maybe in elementary school, and the bus driver said, Adam, come up here. For some reason, I wasn't into politics. For some reason, he called me to the front. I just want to tell you the president was shot. But the country would stop. Right. The Democrat, Republican, Independent would stop and heal for a night. The other night, when it was assassination, and we went back, Blaire and I went to another party, but she got tired, and I kept going to 2:30. And there was a Time magazine party at the Swiss embassy. Everybody was partying. It was inside the Beltway people. It wasn't really a MAGA crowd, but it was all the elite journalists, young. They could care less. That's a society now that they keep.
I think this is evidence more so than ever. Like we are on the brink of breakdown. The system of governance is purely the confidence of the people that exist below it. A constitution is what constitutes a people and their moral worldview. And we do not have a constitution in this country. So right now, I'd argue that we are closer than ever to collapse due to one fact, and that is the point you're making, that no one cares. I mean, they care a bit. Like I was explaining, I saw people crowding around being like, wow, I can't believe it happened again. But I think for the most part, it's like, well, it's the third time. The first time it was like, oh my God. Now it's like, wow, the third time, huh? The issue is, this shows with 3 instances, more and more people do not feel that they will be penalized by a government. They do not feel that there is a system in place for which they would be wrong to oppose or that it could inflict something upon them. You have governments where if you speak out in the wrong way, you die, you go to the gulag, and people fear this, so they shut up. You have governments with just general strong law enforcement, and people say, well, if I were to go commit a heinous act, I will be killed. Or the moral structure of, if I were to do this, everyone would hate me. But you don't have any of those things right now. These people not only feel that either you will not be held to account, you'll be let out by some judge, or you'll go and sit in a cell and they'll write books about you and sing songs for you, celebrating you. They also just don't think there is a functional government they have to morally adhere to. I want to pull up this clip that's going viral where people are claiming it's fake. They faked the whole thing.
We do have breaking news out of Washington, D.C.
No one cares. That's the real story here. Literally, no one cares. Everyone thinks this is fake. Because of course they do.
See, the first thing I just got to point out is
that guy's scripted and being fake.
Well, he's completely fake because if you pull up 15 comments and think that's reality, I got a bridge to sell you. We have long known about sock puppet opinion blasting on the internet. So for this guy to be like, it's fake, look, and then he just shows you a bunch of comments, I'm going to debunk this retard immediately by showing you Google Trends over the weekend with Cole Allen having 5+ million searches on Google relative to the next highest at 200,000, which is Rotary Clipper. Yeah, I wonder, do people care? Well, what about a 1,000% increase in search volume on a guy's name? I'd go ahead and say, yeah, that likely indicates people care because they're actively seeking out information on it. Now, he makes the argument that many people think it's fake. No, that's just you retards. Most people don't think it's fake because they don't live in retard land. I know because I was out at a bar when this happened and no one even thought to mention the possibility of a staging of an event. It wasn't until you go online and you find people like Kyle Kalinske, who, mind you, thought Trump would lose Iowa in 2024 and who doesn't know what a farm is. These are not exaggerations. He's saying it's fake. I want to stress this to you guys. Kyle Kalinske making the argument that this is staged and it's fake, that or that nobody cares and everyone thinks it's staged. This guy took a picture from an airplane at farms and said, I wonder why it looks like that. And he's a great liberal. Yes.
Did he say it is fake or
the lines?
People think it's fake? What?
Well, let me pull up his tweet so I can be fair to him. But I also want to point out, in 2024, he posted that that Kamala was going to win Iowa. So stop listening to these psychopaths. Now, I will do this. I'll pull up his tweet in a second to make sure I get the context right. But Jimmy Dore, I'm not surprised Jimmy has gone off the deep end because he's been Kirk posting and Israel posting incessantly. He says, nobody is buying the PSYOP designed to engineer support for the ballroom. Are you kidding me?
Trump doesn't need support for this. This has been the most.
He's got people throwing money at him, donors, $1 billion.
Doesn't
need any help.
The fake shooting. Is the argument that Trump staged an assassination attempt to build a ballroom? Yes.
That's a bit much.
That's what they think.
He's already built the ballroom.
It's a statement. They did the fake shooting. That's a claim, brother. You got to back it up with something, JD. What?
No, but that's the thing is that conspiracy theories, we were just talking about how, I personally miss high IQ conspiracy theories. They're just getting so dumb now that it used to be I'm just asking questions, which is valid, but now there's no questions being asked. It's just stating it's fake.
So I'll give you a fair point. Kyle Kalinske said it's not just leftists or liberals either. Normies simply do not give an F. Everybody either thinks the entire thing was fake or are like whatever. Now, I'll give him a little bit that a lot of people are like, man, 3 times. But again, I will stress, when search volume is more than, 20x the other search term, people are searching for what happened. I'll put it this way. Viewership on YouTube and social media posts pertaining to this are through the roof. I've got several tweets with thousands of retweets and hundreds of thousands to millions of views related to this as we're tweeting about it. Literally, people care about it. It's a weird thing that these people try to do. What Kyle's actually doing is not saying people don't care about it. What he's actually saying is you shouldn't care about it. He is doing an appeal to the masses. He is saying to appeal to majority. Hey, everybody thinks it's fake. It doesn't matter, right? That way you look at that and go, yeah, I agree with everybody.
And I
most
respect
people
you,
care.
Kyle, for telling me what the truth and how to be. Yeah, and when the claims about what everyone else thinks is probably someone to avoid their opinion. If it's a slanderous hyperbole, irrational statement, you don't know what everyone thinks. You probably don't know what most people think.
He probably doesn't know what he thinks. Like, there's no thought process behind it's not even a theory. He's just saying it's fake. So what do you even think? It's just a reaction?
I bet he thinks it's fake, or he's checked out. Kyle is.
Well, because the only alternative to just saying it's fake is having to admit, if you're a partisan like he is and you're on the left, that your side is a side engaging in this. Like, unless you want to pull out some bullshit both sides things, but it's really not both sides. Only one side's president's been shot at in recent history. Only one side had a podcaster, influencer murdered in cold blood, Charlie Kirk. If it was both sides, there'd be leftist podcasters getting shot at. And God forbid, I don't want that. Biden would have been shot at, and thank God that didn't happen, but...
I made an offhanded comment about Gavin McInnes, about the Proud Boys, how I was concerned that it might, when the Proud Boys and Antifa had been fighting in the street a little bit, I was like, it reminds me of the brown shirts and the black shirts, the Nazis and the commies going at it pre-World War II. And Gavin, I
got a fact check. I got to correct you a correction. Do you remember when Antifa was attacking Proud Boys?
Yeah, and then some of the Proud Boys struck back is what happened. They got defended into it, and then they fought back.
Yeah.
But I made the statement on this show that I was concerned that would lead to like street violence. And Gavin heard that and he was like, "Oh, no. And immediately reduced the level of violence. That is never the intention of the Proud Boys. It wasn't supposed to be. It was like a gang of hanger-outers, drinking dudes that got riled up, but their intention was not to do some.
Right. So if even this, quote unquote, as the narrative goes, this extreme group of Proud Boys, right, if they're willing to de-escalate, we're not seeing that on the other side. These groups don't de-escalate. And you don't even have to be a huge figure or all the president of the United States to have Antifa show up to your stuff. But, when I had like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I was doing live talks and I had people come up with bike locks that were Antifa. This was the years and years ago at the beginning.
Yeah, the bike lock bandit, they called him. He was at Berkeley and had a bike lock and he was bashing people in the head with it.
Right. So that just scales
all
the way up.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a look at the Chronicle, the events, because Trump is called every name in the book every day of the week, and he finally decides to go in front of 1,500 of his most vocal critics, right? He's cordially going to go there. And the night before, we were at New York for a club, and I said, how are they going to treat him? I don't know. Are they going to stand up and protest? Are they going to boo him? I wasn't sure how they treat him in the room. But then another assassination attempt happens. After that, he says, I want to keep going. I don't want this thing to be closed down. He really wanted to, he doesn't want to, these psychos to let him ruin the evening, right? So he goes back, and he's still really nice to the White House president, Wei Zhejiang, was really conciliatory to her, really complimentary to her of the evening, when she is so nasty towards him every day. This one from CBS, age one. But he still was kind and nice to her. So for all them to keep blasting Trump, and they're starting already, the news media, because Norah O'Donnell the next night in CBS had to read the manifesto right to his face, and I'm glad he gave it back to her.
What happened? I didn't see it.
60 Minutes, she read... the manifesto says you're a pedophile. Well, she didn't say you. It says, he talked about, what is the comment?
A pedophile, rapist.
Rapist, this and this. And he says, you're disgusting for reading that. It's terrible. You read this psycho.
And then she said, oh, you think it's about you?
Right.
Like, just playing dumb. It was so gross.
Right.
I tell you, man, this conversation, this is a little bit of a tangent, but like pedophile rapists, like we were talking, age of consent in the United States is generally 16 in like 30 states. And pedophiles, like prepubescent, rape, statutory rape is different than aggressive, violent rape. So like these words, man, like, if a guy hooked up with a 17-year-old girl in a place where it was legal when he was 40, that's not a pedophile and it's not a rape. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
but these words also
they've done this to go after Trump. They've done this to go after guys, and they've stretched the border when it's not pedophiles. Even what's his name, who was flying 17, 18-year-olds to the that's not pedophile.
The funny thing is, people in this country don't realize that in 30 states in D.C., the age of consent is 16. Right. And by all means, that's disgusting. And if you want to change it, lobby your state to change it. It's not 18. 18 is only a handful of states.
But even still, it's like, let's not even act like Trump has like 15, 16-year-old, people claiming anything. So it's like, for her to read the manifesto like that was so, like, on air like that, as if there was somehow a valid thing.
I want to play this clip from Ashley St. Clair. Following
Hey, Ashley.
following the shooting, a ton of pro-Trump accounts said we need a ballroom, which helps ignite the conspiracy theory that Trump staged this to get a ballroom, which makes no sense because a shooting, they can advocate for a ballroom from it, but it's not going to create any legal standing for them to get a ballroom. But here's what she said. Actually, I have to unmute it as one does. There you go.
So last week, I told you guys that all of MAGA is paid and they coordinate their messaging in lockstep via group chat.
That's false and an exaggeration. And, Ashley's a friend. I'm not in any of these group chats, but I would prefer it. I think it'd be nice if she explained that she's talking about a handful of people and some PR companies. That's fine to say. But to say everything is MAGA and fake and staged because of this handful of people.
Is anyone at this table in a group chat where we get told what to say?
I'm not.
I'm not.
And I never
Make
got
it easier.
Let me play.
I wish I got some coin too. Right?
Here you go.
And what do you know? All of these people came to the conclusion that after they saw what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, their first thought was all independently, Trump needs his ballroom.
I want to highlight Mike Sternrich. I don't know if he's actually in this chat.
The statistical likelihood of this happening in a vacuum, if we are to stipulate that these people are not coordinated, the statistical likelihood of this happening, that they all came to the same conclusion, not probable.
Okay. I just want to stress that Meghan McCain is reviled by most of these people as well. They're not in group chats together. I would also stress that Ashley is correct. There are group chats. It's not that they are in. So there's a mixture. One, group chats have always existed for a variety of reasons. Some government officials will create group chats for the purpose of messaging. They do exist. I don't think they're that big. However, I had a group chat maybe like 8 years ago that was like 8 people. And it was like 6 people I did not know. And it was just about politics in D.C. And everybody kind of argued with each other. It wasn't really anything coordinated. I was also in a group chat called a journalist back in, I think this was like 2014 or 2013 on Facebook. These journalists were controversial because, as it turns out, prominent journalists in the corporate press were all in these same group chats. And it wasn't that they were giving instructions to the journalists on what to write about. It's that they were all talking about the exact same things. The conspiracy theory was that there is a secret cabal of journalists that mandate all of the companies run the same stories, when in reality, all of these people are just friends with each other and they think the same things as they talk to each other.
And also, people copy tweets that they see getting likes.
Right.
This is the thing you can tell happens all the time on Twitter. I'll sometimes think of an original something, and if it does well, I'll suddenly see this one and that one, just kind of rewording it. So, like, this exists, but to pretend it's all of it. And also, if she was still with Elon Musk or still getting money from him like she wanted, she wouldn't even be doing this. So it's disingenuous.
So let's play more.
I think it's also important to note that one of the main group chats in which they coordinate this messaging is literally called Fight, Fight, Fight after the attempt on Trump's life and
So what?
Butler. Okay, and this has the official Trump war room, members of the administration, including James Blaire, and all your favorite MAGA influencers.
They're all friends with each other. Some of them actually did work on the campaign or now work in the administration, and many don't. In fact, there are many people who have appeared on this show who literally work at the Pentagon now.
And I would log on and show you more of these messages, but I can't log on to Twitter because they're suing me for $75,000.
Well, so I'll say this,
and that's why you're mad, ho.
Ashley, I'll criticize you if I think you deserve criticism, as I would with anybody, be it Milo or anybody else. This is. I would give it a good old 50% correct. There are group chats. There are government officials in these group chats. They don't create these group chats for the express purpose of, hey guys, I'm going to give you the official government narrative that you need to say. These are just birds of a feather flocking together. And it's more like, if you want to be insulting, say it's a bunch of lemmings walking off a cliff. That's one way you can describe them. They're not intentionally saying, tell us, master, what to do. They're all just saying the same thing, like, man, if we had a ballroom, this wouldn't have happened. And then someone tweets it, and then someone else retweets it, and then they're all talking about it. I'm so mad that they're blocking the ballroom, and then you get a narrative.
And is it necessarily wrong? Because if you want to believe that the UK and Russia and China don't all have ballrooms for their officials, Clearly they do. Why America doesn't have one, I don't know. I'm not like passionate about it, but clearly a conclusion if the president has to be at the Hilton and there's an assassination attempt, he probably shouldn't be like down the street at the Hilton.
Yeah.
He should probably be at a more secure location like the White House.
Yeah, as if that's like a crazy concept after
Right.
this incident to be like, yeah, we need a It's like if they came out and they all tweeted in unison like, hey, this is why we need to pass the hot rotisserie chicken act, I'd be like, okay, maybe there's
Right. If there was a vote, but he doesn't need justification. It's funded already.
I got to give a shout out to this guy, Humbled Voter, who says the hypocrisy, and then post an image of a ton of anti-Trump leftists, all posting the exact same thing about conservatives posting the exact same thing. I don't believe that Awaken with JP or Being Libertarian coordinated their messages. They're just all thinking similar things because that's what people do. It's not a conspiracy.
Almost like political sides become hive minds. Like, it's not that shocking.
A full disclosure, Ashley gave me we were colleagues, good friends, 8 years. Ashley St. Clair, she gave me business for an old company. We were promoting candidates, and we had group chats right away. We just had a group chat. What does it mean?
Yeah,
just friends and colleagues, and
let me just tell you guys. I had a group chat back in 2018-19 when I was talking about with DC journalists, where I was telling them a civil war was coming, and they told me I was crazy.
Yeah,
they said Tim's nuts.
And also, her initial batch of like accounts there, I would pay to see a group chat with Meghan McCain and Mike Cernovich in this. That would be like Keno.
And what are you really going to say in a group chat? They're not going to really say business or exchange money in a group chat. It's just frivolous talk.
Of all of the people to accuse too, Mike Cernovich, he rags on everybody. He is not in this like Trump Beltway MAGA space. He's a California guy. He supported Trump. He's criticized Trump. He's kind of his own thing.
Lately, he even criticizes Trump more than you know, supports him. And also, just another thing about Ashley St. Clair, she's been doing all these videos lately exposing things that aren't even shocking. She did one where she was talking about how it's always sexual degeneracy at like right-wing events and stuff. And it's kind of like, you only know that because you're partaking, clearly. Like, I've never been invited to an orgy at a CPAC. And if you're saying all that happens because you experienced that, you did that.
Yeah, but that means
sure
she's right.
No, I'm sure it happens. But also, if you know that, it's probably because you are the type of person to be invited to that. No one's ever...
Well, I mean, to be fair, she is literally doing the, like, I am no longer MAGA or right. Here's what was going on behind the scenes. So that's kind of the shtick.
Yeah, and that's fine. But it's also, it's revealing because it's like, it's a lot of projection, in my opinion.
Guys,
you hold your all the way up to Elon Musk.
I have to rag on the right every so often, you know. Actually, I should just do it more often. You created Ashley St. Clair.
True.
And they should not have. And I've made this warning over and over and over again about what happens when you refuse to forgive people. Ashley St. Clair was a prominent voice on the right, helping people on the right. And you may say, well, we don't like her. She's gone bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, she was getting attacked mercilessly. She was getting insulted. She was being barred from events. She was on the outs with Elon. Fine, I get all that. Her fight with Elon and their kid resulted in people on the right attacking her and calling her names. So she did the only thing a human being can do, found community elsewhere. So when the right said no, she went to liberals and said, please, I have nowhere to go. And they said, denounce everything you've ever said before. And she agreed to do it. By all means, you can criticize her for that. But this is what people do. That's why I have long said, over a decade now, you must create a path toward forgiveness. Otherwise, people will choose just to go the other direction, and you create your own enemies. Don't do that.
That's true. When she was in the midst of getting all the hate for the Elon stuff, there was a lot of things said and kind of done to her that was unfair. And a lot of the issues she was communicating were valid and could have been calmed down by Elon making different choices too. She got a lot of the blame for things. So that's true.
I feel real bad because I never dogged her. I didn't ever want to. I like Ashley.
Me either.
But like, and it seems so sad because I saw her. She was like, I want to have another baby when I was talking to her. And then she did with Elon. And it was like, Elon's a magnum. He's a stallion. You know, you can't corral the man.
He's
I feel
wild
for Ashley.
Stallion.
I'd love to have Ashley. I mean, it's been like 3 years since she's been on
she's
the
welcome
show.
back anytime.
You know what happened? I think, all of us are very independent here. Tim, me, and Blaire. The first Trump administration, he had too many turncoats. He became a nervous wreck. Every other day, somebody was writing a book, going against him for money. This time around, it's like more sycophants, it seems like, in the MAGA space. Nobody wants to criticize him, go against him. So when this happens, it's like It's the MAGA. How dare you do
know,
that? How dare you criticize Trump?
The part of the stuff is all
free
fake.
thinkers. We're allowed to criticize either side anytime.
So I criticize Trump periodically over the years. I support him. I voted for him, but I think he deserves criticism sometimes. I've praised him. I think he's the best, the greatest president of our generation. Even with the Iran war that everyone's mad about and I did not vote for, I still look back at other presidents and I'm like, Trump's still a marginal victory. But when I criticized Trump 2 years ago, no one says anything. When DeSantis was running and we were in that weird space and I was like, I'm for DeSantis, no one in the media was like, Tim Pool breaks from Trump. Today, all of a sudden, media outlets are like, Tim Pool mocks Trump, saying he's humiliated. I'm like, I never said any of these things. Like, it's really weird that they're trying to claim I'm now anti-Trump.
They're using that turncoat energy if they can.
No, I think it's just
they've been
partisan
running with that for over a year.
Well, I think what it is that the left is like locked out of the zeitgeist because what's dominated the zeitgeist for the last 6 months is the MAGA Civil War. Did you see what Tucker said? Did you see what Jack Posobiec, Rick Hand, like whoever they're going at it and everything, and it's like. No, they're just the left is completely locked out of the zeitgeist. So the only way they can like participate is like, yeah, he's with us. He's with us. No, he's with us.
Right, it's the same thing in the first. If you turned on Trump, the Washington Post will be calling you tomorrow. CNN, Tim, can you come on, please? And
they did
now, yeah.
But I didn't turn on Trump.
Right.
I get a call from the Wall Street Journal like, we'd like to have a conversation about your thoughts on Trump. And then Reuters calls me and I'm like, yeah, I think Trump's overall net positive. You do? Uh-huh. Oh.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They see criticism as like a complete. It's very autistic. It's like a criticism means a complete condemnation. It's like, or it's normal to criticize the person you voted for because that's what you're supposed to do. Unlike if you want to be a Democrat and vote in a vegetable and then act like everything's perfect for 4 years, even though we don't have a president.
I'm gonna say this. I believe that the majority of people who have turned on Trump are liars and hypocrites. I believe that Tucker Carlson is a liar and a hypocrite. And I will tell you why. When Tucker first came out critical of Israel and saying the things he was saying about Qatar and Islam, whatever, I'm like, Tucker's allowed to have his opinions. People have opinions. Sometimes I disagree with, and Tucker is always, he's had some good ideas. Here's the thing. Tucker came out and said that he is tormented by having supported Trump. He is sorry for misleading people. He didn't mean it. He didn't do it willingly. And then his brother literally says maybe that Miriam Adelson money came, for some reason, and he laughs. Tucker knew 100% because we all did that Donald Trump took an estimated $100 to $160 million from Miriam Adelson to support his campaign. And it was reported far and wide this was money given to Trump as a quid pro quo to take the West Bank, that he would support Israel's effort to take the West Bank. And that's why he got the money. Literally every single person knew this. Donald Trump hired John Bolton, fired 59 Tomahawk missiles into Syria and killed Soleimani. The idea that they are now shocked that Donald Trump is fighting in support of Israel, supports them. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem in his first term. The people coming out now going, oh my, I never knew. They are liars, every single one of them. If you want to criticize Trump for doing all of those things, please do so, and with my blessing. Trump should not be launching tomahawks into Syria or dropping bombs, whatever. Not a fan. But if you're going to come to me and claim you did not know, when literally on this show we covered stories with your comments talking about how y'all actually knew, you are liars and hypocrites, and I am sick of all of these people. Now, I can say this of Ashley. She's always been nice to us. She's been a friend. Talk to her periodically, not really all that often. Her coming out and saying all of MAGA is paid obviously comes from a place of rejection and animosity. Yeah. It is not correct that all of MAGA is paid and coordinated, but she's obviously pissed at a lot of these people. However, many of these people in the inverse, seemingly coordinated, used to be pro-Trump because it was the popular thing to do. Woke was cringe, Bud Light was boycotted, and these people all jumped on board. And now that the trend says don't like Trump, they're acting shocked that Donald Trump took money in support of Israel. Spare me your hypocrisy.
Yeah, there's literally, I was looking at, there's literally a quote from him, or it was a clip from like 2012, and he was like, Netanyahu's like the greatest political leader in the Middle East. Like, I'm the most ardent Zionist. He literally said, I'm an ardent Zionist.
Trump did?
Yeah, he was like, going into the 2016 presidential cycle, he was like, I'm going to be the most pro-Israel president ever. And then all of a sudden, like, people are surprised now. I mean, again, I'm vocally opposed to the Iran war. I think it's a bad idea, et cetera. I've, explained that on the show a few times, but I'm not like shocked. I'm not like, this is a scandalous. It does on the No New Wars thing feels like, a bit of a sort of renege, so to speak. But again, the idea that he's pro-Israel, you're shocked by that. It's like, first of all, he's a baby boomer. That's like all of them. Second of all, he said it over and over and over and over again. You kind of got to believe the guy when he like makes that his core foreign policy position for the better half of a century at this point. I mean, he's been saying it since the 80s.
Yeah, his son-in-law is Jared Kushner, who I think is considered himself Zionist. I haven't talked to him before.
Big
time.
His daughter converted to Judaism. Not that Judaism has anything to do with Israel. It's a country.
Here's an article from 2024 from the New Arab. Pro-Israel billionaire Miriam Adelson backs Trump campaign, pushes for West Bank annexation. We all knew this story.
Yeah.
The people now, they're like, I can't believe that Donald Trump is this. They're lying.
Yeah, I literally remember people were correctly pointing out that, going into 2023, the Biden winner, is that Trump, like all these legal troubles, he was running out of money and he had to start receiving donations from, traditional Republican donors. Yeah, that's like not a surprising thing. And I remember people that were commenting on that. And they're like, oh, that's interesting. And then all of a sudden now they're like shocked by it.
Are you saying the people instituting lawfare against Trump pushed him into the arms of the Israelis? Via Miriam Adelson's bailout?
He moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem in his first term.
True,
The dude's been like, he's been unrepentantly pro-Israel the whole time.
Undercover about it kind of in his
No,
first
he
term.
was not.
Syria.
Well,
bro, the dude could not speak more highly of Israel the whole time.
I think it was less that he was undercover about it, but I think there's just been like a more in mass people are actually tuning into issues with Israel. People actually care about it now. I think people just didn't really care back then too.
Going to war with Iran's a big deal too.
What irks me a lot about that is that most of what these people are saying, it's mass formation psychosis. They're not talking about legitimate criticisms of Israel. Some people are like, Dave Smith is a really great example of somebody who has legitimate criticisms. I am not talking about him. I'll give you another example because Clint Russell's welcome on the show, but he literally made a video called Israel Derangement Syndrome Debunked. And I can only say that I believe that Clint is, I'll be nice, Clint, you're being untoward because you know that my statement on what Israel Derangement Syndrome is not you. And I literally said my libertarian friends have legitimate arguments against Israel. What he then did was when I argued that there are people who think Israel is controlling the opiate drug trafficking trade in West Virginia, that's derangement. He then claims he's debunking Israel derangement by making normal arguments about Israel. He's doing that, in my opinion, Clint. You're doing it, in my opinion, because it gets clicks, because you're attacking me to the Israel derangement syndrome people because you want them to follow you. And I think that's stupid, but you're welcome to come on the show, and then you'll be forced to agree with me because you know I'm right.
Yeah, when you had figures like Pat Buchanan, I mean, since the 80s, were like making well-mannered, sort of calculated, intelligent, criticisms of a relationship with Israel. And it was like out in the open. But then now people have latched on prior to Iran. Now with Iran, okay, maybe that's a little bit different situation. But prior to that, it's like, where were all you guys? Because you can look at a lot of these people like 5 years ago, they were ardent Zionists or they were like super pro-Israel. And then all of a sudden they flip again, like after October 7th, the incentive structures change around a little bit. So they participate.
Yeah, it was called TikTok changed their algorithm and boosted anti-Israel content and made a bunch of people rich and famous for attacking Israel. And that is a fact. And the Democrats, and I literally was arguing this. I had one tweet with Clint to Dave Smith about this. So basically, Dave said, you got to watch Clint's response to Tim having Randy Fine on the show. And then my response was acting like me having a guest on the show is indicative of my opinions is hypocrisy. And the issue largely, go back to your point. I don't want to, what were you just saying? I don't want to.
No. It's just, I was making the point is like, where were you when it was not in vogue to, again, like.
Right. The point that I made is that every time one of these issues comes up with Israel and foreign funding, people just do not understand literally any of U.S. foreign policy. It's just only Israel exists. And so I'm like, yeah, I've long said we shouldn't fund Israel and we shouldn't fund Ukraine and we should stop spending money. But why all of a sudden now are the people who know my opinion is we shouldn't have foreign funding for Israel, Ukraine, or otherwise are acting like I'm in favor of Israel for criticizing people who are retarded for blaming Israel for opiate trafficking in West Virginia?
Yeah. Yeah, literally. I mean, there's people like after the Charlie Kirk thing and they were going everywhere. I'm like, what is going on? Because I remember like 5 years ago, they would be like, having a Netanyahu-centric foreign policy like creates problems if we're trying to stitch together like an anti-China power block in the Middle East. Like this could be a problem. Maybe we should cut them loose. Now it's like, I think the Israelis killed Charlie Kirk. And they say like a straight.
So I have a question about that. The conspiracy theorists argue that Charlie Kirk was murdered by Israel because he had turned on Israel, right?
Yeah.
He had this text message where he said that the donors are falling at every Jewish stereotype, giving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. For that reason, Israel killed him. I then asked this question of several people. How come Candace Owens is featured on YouTube, front page, promoted, despite breaking the rules? I have been told by all of these people, it's because Israel wants to be hated. They need the world to go to war with them to bring so that the Messianic era will occur. If that's true, then why did they kill Charlie Kirk? Both cannot be true. If Charlie was turning on Israel, isn't that what you just claimed they wanted? They wanted the world to turn on Israel so that could foment a war from the world to go to war against Israel. That would bring on the Messianic era. If that's the case, why would they not just have Charlie Kirk do this? And then if the argument is, okay, well, they don't want to be hated, then why would Candace Owens be propped up and promoted by YouTube despite breaking the rules? Who's in control of these things? None of it makes sense. It's all mass formation psychosis. And the people who claim they're just now looking into Israel are lying for clicks because they're weak-willed retards. I was going to say something else, but I'll save that for the after show.
I think that aside from legitimate criticisms of Israel and involvement with other countries, I think also some of it, like we were mentioning, it's a lot of cope when people talk about how violence is, or the shootings are all staged, or it's a both sides thing. It's kind of a cope to not admit how bad it is on the left. I think some of it is a cope to not admit or acknowledge how corrupt the institutions in this country are and how the CIA has done a lot of fucked up things like this. I would rather look at our own institutions if we're going to be looking at stuff first, but people seem to skip past that. Like, it's not as if the CIA is above assassinations and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, if someone asked me, do you think there was a conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk? The answer is, of course there was, because people knew on social media that Charlie was going to be killed. Something was going to happen. They indicated foreknowledge. There were reports of multiple vehicles outside of the alleged assassin's home. There was a weirdly, seemingly scripted conversation. Certainly did not seem like this guy acted alone, at least based on the surface level evidence that we have. Right. So then if it was not just some wackaloon lefties who did it, but there was some capability behind it, who is the first group of people that it would make sense killed Charlie Kirk? Uniparty Democrats. Because Charlie Kirk is the one who got Donald Trump elected. Turning Point USA rallied all of these people into voting for Donald Trump. And if you want to stop Donald Trump, you need to stop Charlie Kirk. Then you need someone who's going to prop up and push you need to prop up somebody who's going to push all of the conservatives who are weak-willed away from Trump. Hey, wow, there's a handful of people that are doing that conveniently. Let's jump to this clip to carry on that story. We've got this video from the White House Correspondents' Center shooting. Erica Kirk seen crying after shots were fired. Here's the short clip.
I just want to go find
So this video has gone massively viral, and that's all it is. Erica Kirk saying, I just want to go home. And there's been a few things. One, a socialist woman made fun of her for having a budget dress, which is kind of funny. A socialist saying her dress is on sale, because that's what these women are actually motivated by, I guess. And then, of course, people claiming she is fake crying and staging all of this. It's fake.
But if she wasn't crying, then why is she not showing emotion, right?
Yeah. I think it's actually quite simple. Erica Kirk, her husband is killed. The management, the donors, they say, you have to be the face of this because no one else can. With all due respect to the team, Jack can't do it. Colvett can't do it. She is the only one with Kirk gravitas, despite only having a small piece of what Charlie had. She has to be the face. She's not going to, I doubt she runs the company. I doubt she's managing much. She's probably just doing the PR. The amount of psychotic vitriol lobbed at this woman, I can only argue is a psyop for a handful of reasons.
I've never seen anything like it, to be honest.
It is insane. So first Charlie dies. Then when his wife tries picking up the slack to save his organization, she gets attacked in every possible direction by all of these people in the most insane way imaginable. And I'm going to say psyop for a couple of reasons. First, as I mentioned before, the RPMs on the phrase Erica Kirk are disproportionately high, meaning you will get more views and make more money attacking Erica Kirk than doing anything else. Seriously.
Right.
You want to make finance videos? You will make a comparable amount of money, but less views than if you just insult Erica Kirk. That is very weird. And it's indicative of an op. I'm sorry. It just is.
Like someone's funding that.
Right? Yeah. Or big tech is driving people to it for some reason.
Yeah. And I think unfortunately, it also is in its own way very organic. I think a lot of people just are hopping onto it. And this goes back to like, it's not okay in the eyes of like at least the psychosis on the internet happening to theorize anything other than Erica being behind it or Israel being behind it. Like there's no other options. I personally don't think it was only the guy who's in jail for it right now or going on trial for it right now. I think it was probably him and some other people. I think there's reasons to think that. I haven't seen anything that's convinced me Erica herself is behind it. And so for me, I'm kind of like, okay, if you guys are right that Erica is behind it, then I suppose the hate is pretty justified. But if you're wrong, if there's like any chance you're wrong, which I think it's very likely you're wrong, then you're just abusing a widow. That's the only.
It's mass formation psychosis.
After Charlie was assassinated, Turning Point exploded. Chapters, hundreds, thousands and thousands of chapters. People were Googling Charlie Kirk, learning about Charlie Kirk, right? Moderates, independents said, this is not a bad guy. This is not demonized. Why would someone try this, right? So what did they? They couldn't demonize Charlie anymore. So what did they do? Let's go after Erica, what she's wearing. Let's go after makeup. Let's go after her hug. Let's go after her thoughts. It was crazy the things they were going after, to go after Turning Point, to go destroy it again. Because if we win the hearts and minds of young people, that's how conservatism grows. That's how our movement grows. So I think it's a coordinated attack, not only on the obviously on the left and the media, but a lot of crazy on the right too.
I think it's an op. I think the deep state was like, why do we keep losing? We're not going to beat Trump. This is 2024. And, you know, looking at everything that's happened, I couldn't come up with a better plan myself. If someone came to me and said, how do we turn this around? I'd say, well, you know, Charlie Kirk's a problem because he's rallying young people. And if you lose young people, then you lose.
Right.
After Charlie is dead, it's like, okay, well, now they're raking in massive donations. You got to go after and character assassinate Erica Kirk in any way possible. And they do it in the craziest ways possible. So, like, Erica Kirk does an interview, and it's kind of mundane. And I watch these interviews. I watch all the news, and I'm bored with it.
Right.
Nothing spectacular happens. She sits down and she says, well, here's what we're trying to do. And I'm like, eh. Then on X, someone takes the video, slows it down a little bit, adds creepy music with like eerie violin, and then zooms in on her eyes and does a boomerang effect. So she's going like, and then it shows someone, there'll be like a person in the bottom corner, like a TikTok video going like, this is weird. Why is she so weird? And that's all people ever see of her. And I will give you an example going back to yesteryear. I remember remember when Sarah Palin was running? It was 2008?
Yeah.
And I was talking to someone in Chicago who said, well, I mean, the problem with McCain isn't just that he's like a fascist. You know, Sarah Palin thinks she can see Russia from her house. And I went, that's Tina Fey. She's like, well, no, Sarah Palin said you can see Russia from her house.
God.
I said, no, Tina Fey on Saturday Night Live said, I can see Russia from my house. And it was a joke. But people heard that and thought Sarah Palin literally said it. What did Sarah Palin actually say? She said when she was campaigning with McCain, she did an interview where she said, I would do great I'm paraphrasing, on foreign policy, especially as we're dealing with Russia, because as many people know, we are only about 50 or so miles away from Russian territory. In fact, from the westernmost point of Alaska, you can actually see Russia.
Right.
So with the trade routes going through the Bering Strait, I've already negotiated these terms with other countries. And I'm like, that's a great point. She already, as governor of Alaska, has foreign policy experience. Then Tina Fey makes a joke, I can see Russia from my house. And liberals were like, I can't believe Sarah Palin said that. That's the world we live in with mass formation psychosis. So when these people make fake Erica Kirk videos, they go, did you see that weird video where she was like making a weird face? No, but I saw the edited one where they played eerie music. You believe that? Yes, they do, because it's an op. When Candace came out and attacked Nick Shirley, it should have been obvious to everyone. She dug up a year-old video from Nick Shirley and accused him of fabricating his stories to discredit the work he is doing, exposing fraud from the Democrats. The only conclusion I can make, looking at the big picture, and maybe I'm wrong, is that Candace is working with Democrats to destroy Turning Point USA after the fact, to stop them from winning, not as a Democrat, but as a spoiler. Erica Kirk is evil. Don't support Turning Point USA. Israel is bad for 1,000,001 reasons. The earth is flat. I don't know. That's what she said. And all of this propped up on YouTube despite breaking the rules. Now, you may be saying, I don't believe her a second. Then why is Nick Fuentes banned despite them saying very similar things? I wonder.
So I met Erica Kirk like 30 minutes, for the first time, like 30 minutes before that video we just played. And her energy was very like sad. And so then for this to happen and then see the video of her crying and walking through, I saw something genuine. What really got me was people posting like, oh, there just was a perfectly placed camera. There was thousands of people in there. Like everything was being filmed. It was a televised event.
There's a post on Reddit where you've got photos of Secret Service with their guns drawn, and the shots are incredible. And it was a top post. You go to reddit.com in popular, and it was like the 5th post right there on the front page, and it was who got these photos, and all the comments were like, this is staged. How did they get these action shots? And I'm sitting here being like, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Literally every single person in there works for the press. So when shots were happening, there were literally tons of journalists standing in the hallways with cameras.
There's 1,500 people in that. 1,500 in the ballroom, all journalists, and there's another 1,000 that didn't go to the ballroom that went to the parties. So you have thousands of journalists, the top journalists in the world, there for that one night. They call it the nerd prom, and finally the cool kid was about to come and speak, and that didn't last too long.
Yep.
Everyone in their's sole job is to catch stories and photographs and video. It's like, oh my God.
Dude, Erica's nervous system after like seeing her saying, I just want to go home. Like that's not even to your house. That means like go to a place in my memory where I'm safe. She's probably holding it together like tenuously. And then she goes here and another gunman. And it's like, is this just going to get worse forever?
How is she not quit?
And she was very kind to us. She came into the Fox party. I said, Erica, I remember Adam. Yeah, I remember we used to talk before. She carried Charlie. She lived in New York. She's very kind to us.
She was very sweet, but she had a very broken,
Could you imagine energy. She hears gunshots and she's sitting in one of the front tables. Everybody's going under a table.
I don't know how she doesn't quit.
She probably heard.
Probably for Charlie's honor, which is amazing.
You didn't know who was going to storm into the ballroom and start shooting people at that moment.
When you have this, I certainly can't understand the psychotic extremes that people are going to and attacking her, but it must be insanely difficult to have to decide between standing up for what Charlie built or just quitting and leaving, because that's what they're trying to make you do.
Right.
They are trying to get Erica to break so she quits.
There was a viral tweet that said it was this disgusting person with pink hair, of course, saying it's so funny to give Erica Kirk PTSD.
Have you just go on Threads and look up her name?
I would never.
It's crazy. It's
like
traumatize
me.
I talked about this. So I go on Instagram. And I'm looking at, skate videos and things like that and snowboarding. But every so often, it'll give you a Threads recommendation because they want you to use Threads. And it was a woman saying something about Erica Kirk. So I clicked it, brings me to Threads. And it was it was a guy posting some Erica Kirk conspiracy stuff. So then I look at the search term for Erica Kirk, and it was a bunch of middle-aged women with no followers just threatening to kill Erica Kirk.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm just like, these people are psychotic.
And can I tell you how sad it is that it doesn't actually, for at least people like that, the middle-aged, women with no lives whose husbands probably hate them if they have husbands. Unfortunately, it doesn't get more complicated than like she's a beautiful, young, blonde woman with beautiful children who had the perfect, seeming husband, perfect like nuclear family life. And a lot of bitches are jealous and a lot of men are jealous.
I want to jump to this viral tweet from the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner from Olivia Reingold, where she is being mercilessly mocked because as this security incident was occurring, I'm making fun of Fox News, by the way, during the attempted assassination, she turns her camera on and films her own face the whole time. She tweets, terrifying, a few ground-shaking knocks by my seat at White House Correspondents' Dinner, unclear if shooting, I am okay, we are trying to exit now. It's got 10 million views, here's the video.
We were just seated I'm seated near one of the doors and
Zach!
people are shouting USA now. I don't know, I just heard like 4 huge knocks by this door. Everyone. I don't but
She should be fired on the spot. She works for the Free Press, and this is what everyone's posting. Photographing something you want to show everyone. Males, object. Females, her face in front of the object. I'm actually deeply offended by this video for one simple reason. I want to see what's going on. And I can hear, but I can't see. So when I see this video and I click it, I can hear shouting, and it's just her staring at the camera. Hold your phone up. Show us what's happening for the love of all that is holy. This one's really driving people insane. It's got nearly 10 million views because instead of doing journalism, she filmed herself like a deeply narcissistic psychopath. And this exemplifies the problem with this generation. The deep narcissism of, look at me, instead of, I'm going to show you what's going on right now. I don't think, it is not that it was her intentionally trying to obstruct. It was her first thought is, I should film my own face. These are the people that are working in media. This is what we are dealing with. We don't have an actual journalistic apparatus trying to inform the public anymore. A small handful maybe, but this exemplifies so much of what I experienced 10 years ago and we see endlessly today. People trying to maximize the views they get to make themselves famous.
Dude, it's sort of a sick fantasy of mine to be like, what if I was the one guy who chose to run out into traffic and save the baby, and some guy recorded me and then uploaded it, and I became a famous person for a selfless act of heroism. And then people want to catch themselves in it and doing the act of heroism. It completely refutes the vibe. Like, you're not a hero if you're making everyone see your work.
Guys, I want you to pause real quick and just imagine. Imagine you are kneeling on the ground on all fours, ducking. You hear potentially shots. I want you to imagine you are holding your phone in your right hand and it's on a front-facing camera filming your face and you keep glancing at it.
It's insane.
That is the
situational awareness as well. Like, if someone did come up behind her, she should be looking.
She's like, the point is, we can see her face, but I want you to imagine what it's like to have been her sitting there, taking your phone and selfieing while this is going on, and you're like looking at your face.
I bet her and hundreds of other journalists left and said, thank God I'm okay. And they'll probably all, in group chats like earlier, blaming the president. Not blaming themselves.
Well, I don't know about that.
And all about themselves.
But what I can just say is, having done a lot of this work, been on the ground and filming things, the idea that your first instinct is to hold your phone in selfie mode and keep glancing at it, what are you filming? Honest question. In your mind, what do you think you are filming? That's the craziest thing to me. This woman goes, better film myself right now. Why? Why would anyone want to see your face? Honest question.
Maybe after have it just in case someone barges in the room, you've got the footage, but nothing happened.
She could have put her normal phone on the normal back camera and held it up and filmed the room.
Yeah,
It is annoying. The only thing I can think to say in her defense is, I think it is easy to judge what you would or wouldn't do or should do in a situation like that.
It's easy for me to judge because I did it for over 10 years.
Well,
and I was shot at while I was doing it.
You specifically, yes.
That's
but
right.
Her, I don't know.
That's why I'm
about
pissed
her.
off.
Yes.
Because if I was in the White House Correspondents' Dinner and a shooting happened, the first thing I'd do is I'd click live on my phone and I'd hold it towards whatever was going on. I would try and not hold it in a way that looked like a weapon, by the way. And then I would start explaining what was happening. Guys, we're at the White House Correspondents' Center. Reports are that shots may have been fired. We're taking cover right now. I'm not going to expose. I don't want to. And I would not be filming my own face. However, it is fine if periodically you turn the phone around. That's what I used to do. You film the moment, you explain what happened, then you can turn it back to you and say, here's where I am right now. This is what it looks like. Back to what's going on in the room.
The age of deepfakes, that's actually a pretty good idea to verify that it's an actual video, even though you could deepfake your face into the thing, but it makes it a lot more like, My question is, were there bullet shots fired?
Yes.
To take the guy down? Did the guy shoot?
He shot.
Yes, he shot and then they shot him.
He had a Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know exactly who. Todd Blanche was very careful when asked about this. He said that they believe the shot came from the shooter, but they want to be careful before they've done the actual forensic.
When she said that there were 4 loud knocks, I think she said 4. Were those the shots?
There were 5 shots.
There was
in
a
total.
shot and then 4 that Secret Service shot. And I think they're saying, I don't know how confirmed it is, like you just said, that there was one Secret Service person who was shot on, and he got hit in the bulletproof vest.
You make a really good point, Blaire, that judging someone in a high stress situation is kind of out of. For me, I think I went a little too far because I don't know what I would do if it hit the fan hard.
That's the only thing. It is annoying, and because she is part of the press, she should have been doing press, but also I might have done something retarded.
Well, this is not press. This is TikTok selfie. Look at my face.
Is she? Well, what is her job though? Is she like
she's I think she's a writer at the Free Press.
Oh, well.
She's a staff writer at the Free Press.
Okay, she probably should have been filming this.
Meanwhile, you had Dana White just to soaking in the moment. He was.
Like, kind of think about it, like if you see a UFO,
that was awesome.
Like sometimes I'll be driving and I'll see like a flying object, and my first thought is not to film my face looking at it, but to film the thing in the sky. I don't know if that's relevant or not, but
yeah, that's true.
But if she wanted to go viral and have her face go viral, she did.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the thing is like either she does one of like the 300 angles that we have already that has like 20 likes, or she blows up, gets 10 million.
No. We don't have an angle from her position in the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's what
There's
pisses
a guy
me
behind
off.
her with the phone up.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not defending her. That's obviously narcissism, but you know, sure, her payout's going to be nice.
You get a little insight into what the panic was like in the room.
Yep. But you don't. Instead, you see her face.
Well, you get to see her panic.
And now she's on Timcast.
How many views does she have so far?
10 million.
What's up, Olivia? Oh, you're crushing it.
Yeah, but it's 10 million people hating on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the meme. The meme, of course, you know.
I guess she figured, she's like, I work for the Free Press, so what's there to lose? Everyone's going to hate me anyway, so
any press is good press.
Yeah.
What I heard from other women is that the actual crime was her hair.
Oh, snap.
The hair is kind of bad.
I don't want to go hard, but...
Yeah.
Whoa.
Women are posting this screenshot being like, the worst thing that she did was not the selfie, it was the hair. And I'm like, that probably offends her more than the men complaining
Because
about
the reason
her
she
selfie.
did that is she's like, she had what, 4 or 5 of her coworkers like notice her outfit and her like get up and everything. She's got to show it off. So she got to film it. She's like,
It would be really sad if like she did her hair and the whole reason for the selfie was that she wanted to turn her head back so you could see the whatever that's called.
Oh my god!
What is
the buns should have been tight. They're too loose. They look sloppy.
What are they? What is that?
The little buns.
They're called buns?
Yeah, and she should have had
It's like she
one.
just folded it over.
Yeah, she should have had one tight bun, or if she wanted to do 2, they both should have been tight.
just totally phoning it in. Unbelievable. You were going to be in front of 10 million people, and that's the best you could do? Come on.
I'm telling you guys, it's time to get some chickens, buy some land in the middle of nowhere, because our generation is cooked. You can live in a city, you can have luxuries, but put bars on your windows and buy an in-house cage like they do in South Africa, because it's just going to keep getting worse. These are the people that are supposed to be providing news, and this is what our generation does.
What do the in-house cages do they have in South America or South
Africa? So they have a fence around their house. Then in their house, they have a secondary fence for where they sleep.
Oh.
Because the criminals will break through the fence, go in the house, and then it's hard to get to the second fence. Or it gives you time when you wake up, you hear the banging, you can start praying because they're going to rape and kill you.
Mm-hmm. So you're in a secured area within a secured area.
That's what it's like living in South Africa.
Don't hate it. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I would. I would want to live there.
Double locked doors.
I met this couple from South Africa, and they were like, it's not as bad as people say it is. Yeah, I think we've only been carjacked maybe 5 times.
We do live in a pretty
And I was like, I'm from Chicago. I've been carjacked 0 times.
Our society, like I walk down the street sometimes and I look side to side at the houses and it's just glass windows. I'm like,
yeah.
We live in like such a high trust society.
Well, I remember when I was in Pretoria and I was talking to some local guys and I was like, you know, I don't remember how it came up, but I was basically explaining to them that in the United States, you can just walk up and like knock on someone's door, you know, and oftentimes people will answer it. In some communities, they don't even lock their doors. And they were like, what are you talking about? Because they didn't even understand that, like, South Africa is a unique situation in which you have, like, basically a prison that you live in. They don't understand you can just, like, walk up and knock on someone's door. I'm like, yeah, in Canada,
Bro, there are people in the UK walking into random houses. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
What?
Yeah.
Some, like, young black dudes were doing a prank where they just walked into random houses.
And
you do that out here in West Virginia, you die.
And this family I stayed with in Johannesburg, they had 2 German Shepherds, and they were both puppies. And I was like, oh, did you get them recently? And they're like, yeah, they poisoned her last guard dogs. And I was like, they poisoned your last guard dogs? Like, it happens all the time. I was like, what?
Not all
yeah,
the
they throw
time.
meat in with like poison in it, right?
Yeah, they throw a little poison so when they break in, they don't have to worry about like an attack dog. So I was like, geez Louise.
It's a lot of voodoo in South Africa too. I just watched a thing about that.
What is
voodoo?
There's like more like it's like witchcraft. There's like more witches and
oh, yeah.
Well, you know
crazy shit out there.
You know what they do, right? Like they have a lot of AIDS. So what they'll do is they'll take a needle, prick themselves, and then prick a random person in like a touristy area, because they believe that AIDS is a curse, and that if they transfer the curse to you, it'll cure them. They also have the highest incidence per capita of baby rape. I mean literal babies, because they also believe that you can transfer the disease, the curse, to like the pure baby. Yeah,
we've seen the numbers. It's back to the drawing board. I think it's
South Africa, man.
Good strategy. Yeah, South Africa, and then like if you had to ask people, it's like, okay, so you're telling me all these things have gotten worse. You know, this country is just in free fall. It's basically a collapse state at this point. Have the people got more right wing? No, they still have liberals in South Africa. So it's like this whole idea that like you can just like accelerationism is gonna create a more right wing environment in the United States is like, no, you just get crushed. Actually, that's
and when that does happen, liberals keep pushing for it, and conservatives never do anything about it.
Yeah, and then you have Marxist elements are like, we must not be doing it right. Maybe we need to tweak it even more.
Let's jump to this next story. Is President Trump a time traveler? Century-old sketches spark new conspiracy theories. Now, this is a story from about a month ago about these weird images that were drawn by some dude, Homer Trump. It says 45.99, and there's a bunch of them where it's like this weird drawing. There's a bunch of other ones. They only have the one featured here, where there's strange vehicles driven by a blonde guy, and it says Trump on it.
That's weird.
So here's the thing. Let's start here. MJ Truth Ultra says, I can't unsee it now. I didn't want to believe it at first, but I do now. I believe time travel is real, and I believe President Trump is a time traveler, Uncle John Tesla. Image published on October 20th, 2021. Butler assassination attempt, July 13th, 2024. And so watch this real quick, and I'll explain it in a second. People are claiming that the pixel art is some kind of like mashup of the Trump Butler photo, right? And this has to do with the Henry Martinez post. 2 years ago, Henry Martinez posted Cole Allen and literally nothing else. That's all the account ever posted, the name of the shooter. He's wearing a black bow tie. It's a Pepe with a wine glass, smiling at the camera, wearing a black bow tie. And in the image that was published on C-SPAN right before Trump was escorted off, he is sitting there smirking at the camera with a bow tie and a wine glass in front of him. The banner image for the account was a picture from a website called Time Machine, which people believe you can overlap the Butler photo. Now, that last one I think is a little bit silly, but it is funny that this black tie tuxedo Pepe profile picture from 2023 tweeted out Cole Allen. What I will say is we know the tweet is from 2023. That being said, the image could have been updated whenever. The profile banner could have been put whenever. A lot of people are claiming this is proof that Trump is a time traveler. And what do you guys think?
I feel like I need a blunt to really understand this. I don't know.
Yeah, time.
The picture, the profile picture, I feel like, do we have any proof that that was there before the shooting?
Maybe. Let me check.
Because that would be kind of crazy. But also, I'm not necessarily seeing in the pixel part. I'm not necessarily seeing.
Well, because the argument,
it's a bit of a stretch.
The argument is.
What do you mean? Look.
It's
here's Trump's fist.
I can kind
here's
of see
his face.
that part, but the other people.
I don't know.
Nah, I'm not seeing the other people, the other parts of the photo.
And to be fair, my argument is if you look at the original image. Let me get rid of that. Without Trump there, there's another arm here. It could just be a guy doing this.
Yeah. Like
raising his fist.
Liberty type.
And then they're deciding to overlay Trump Butler saying it fits.
Right. They're even kind of like rotating it to make it work. Like,
Yeah.
But the name being tweeted is definitely interesting.
That's the weirdest thing.
Well, Cole Allen's not an uncommon name.
Yeah, I did do a cursory search, and there was like a lot of accounts made around that same time where kind of same naming convention, same kind of terminally online profile pictures, and then they would just tweet a random name. The one I saw said Jordan Patel.
You could flip his names too. Thomas, Cole Allen, Thomas. It's easily distinguishable, right?
Yeah, I think it was just like, people just kind of, I mean, look, it's hard to index like all these dead accounts because they don't they don't come up in searches, but there's a lot of these that are going around. So obviously someone just searched Cole Allen, scrolled to the bottom, and
and then found it.
It's like Trump's just sitting there so calm. He's so used to this, right? His demeanor.
Yeah, metadata supports the tweet, the photo, and the header were all created in 2023.
Yeah, because I think the argument is because you can't use Grok on his profile, that means he hasn't logged in a while. And then also, like, if you were mass deleting tweets.
Oh, so the picture was there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Now the black tie Pepe is a known Pepe meme. It's just an interesting.
It's just a
combination of events. Which of course proves Trump is a time traveler and went back to the 1800s to tell a story of his son to Ingersoll Lockwood. And the reason why those drawings of those weird machines, see this one right here. You see what happened was Trump went back to 1890. Where Charles Delshaw, the artist, was sitting on his porch and he sees this strange vehicle lands with Trump, and Trump gets out and goes, "Is this 1890? We're supposed to go to 1923. You went the wrong place. Get back in." And they get back in and leave. And the guy's going, "Oh my God, I have to draw this." And it's funny because in the drawings, there's like a weird looking bust that says Trump on it. And it sounds like something Trump would do. Like if Trump made a time machine, like would he put big Trump on the side? He probably would.
Probably would, yeah.
I think it could be proof that, it's a simulation and like energy kind of flows and creates the synchronicities to make it seem like that.
Well, Trump himself is a very kind of Middle Ages kind of character. I mean, he's beefing with the Pope. I mean, these are all like very
look at this picture.
medieval.
All his buildings are like old world style.
Yeah. The way he conducts himself just kind of takes you back to
Here, take a look at this.
Time.
So people are like, it's a 100-year-old sketch of some strange vehicle with Trump written on the side.
I'm sorry, that's weird. And it would be gold. Oh my God. It would be. It looks like an old like Mar-a-Lago car or something.
It does. Like the tackiest thing.
Yeah.
That's what Trump would make his time machine look like.
Yeah, imagine he gets out 1300s and he's like, what's the most pressing issue? The Pope. I mean, the Pope's clearly out of line, so I got to get he hasn't quite figured out, the modern political landscape. So I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. I think
arrow up Trump. Can someone just make an AI movie of like Trump traveling back in time with a dog? The dog's got to be like white with glasses on. You know what I mean?
Are these confirmed drawn in the 1800s?
I think so, yeah.
Trump on them?
I've seen them before. What if it's more so proof of like reincarnation? Like Trump's just been here before.
It might be. Like he chose the name. I think it was Drumpf is his given name. His dad, I think, changed it.
His grandparents.
His grandparents changed it to Trump.
I feel like that's more likely than time traveler.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if he...
Yeah.
It might be. He might have seen stuff like this as a kid, and been like, "Wow."
He is this kind
Mr. Peabody and Sherman. That was the cartoon. Someone needs to make a Mr. Peabody and Trump.
I like that cartoon. I used to watch. That was after Rocky and
Bullwinkle. They go back in time or whatever.
They were awesome. It was like Rick and Morty, but way before. It's not.
It was not like Rick and Morty.
No, it wasn't. It was the closest thing to Rick and Morty in the '80s, though.
There's kind of some other indications that Trump could be like a time traveler again from this previous era. Like the fact that he has such reverence for the King of England, but then like totally disregards the Prime Minister. Maybe he just assumes like, who's this joker? Anyway, I want to speak to the King. Where's the King? I need to talk to the King. What a Kier, get out of here. I think that could be what's going on here.
He talks a lot about like the Golden Age, which is like an old like term like used in like the
sort of Victorian term.
What if like the Mandela effect is just Trump screwing up accidentally the timeline? Like they go back in time to like the late 70s, 80s, and there's like a manuscript for the Berenstein Bears, and he spills a coffee on it, and it like smudges the E, and he's like, "Oh crap, we got to get out of here."
I brought my Adidas. I needed my Nikes for this run.
I feel like he would be reckless about it too. I feel like he would kind of mess up timelines and not really.
They do a time heist to save Nelson Mandela from dying in prison.
Dude, the real thing is it's not an illusion. It's a measurement of motion. And I mean, there are theories we talked a little bit. I don't really know the scientific theory, but the time flows in two directions at once. It's not really like I think you said, Blaire, a perception of motion is thus that we've written time and that we log with the things that have changed before, whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, the way that quantum physics is looking at time more and more, like recently, is that time being linear is just our perception. So like the way our brains perceive time is past and then present right now and then future, but that's not necessarily how it goes.
And like people get divine downloads sometimes, which maybe
because they're kind of tapping it, and it's why like you can have a dream of something and then it happens. You can have visions on a certain level, like psychic is real.
What if like time isn't like the straight line, but it's a mesh that like flips around and folds, right? So imagine
that's what it is.
Imagine in the 1700s, it's like imagine a fabric of time and it's waving and flipping around, right? And then you have the 1700s over here and 2020 over here.
Yeah.
And then they brush against each other and then go back. And what happens is in the 1700s, some guy builds a house and it's like, near a church or a cemetery or whatever. And he goes inside and he's standing upstairs and he's like, built a brand new house. And all of a sudden, he sees a translucent man in strange clothes look at him and go, "Wah!" And then he goes, it's cursed. And then he writes down how the house is cursed. Hundreds of years later, the story of the cursed house persists. And then in the year 2020, some dude is going to the cursed house being like, this is the famous cursed house. And he goes upstairs, and then all of a sudden a man from the 1700s appears, and he goes, and screams. And what they don't realize is actually what happened was not ghosts, but that the fabric of time brushed past each other very briefly, and they both glimpsed each other in the same space before moving away. And they both assumed each other were the ghosts.
And that goes into like the cycles of things too, how you can look at like the 1920s and you can look at like, wow, there was, a pandemic then too. And wow, it was the same kind of stuff going on before World War II. And like, you can see the patterns in time because time just kind of...
I think that's just that the writers are lazy and running out of ideas.
Maybe that.
Yeah, World War II. Really? Do we need a sequel? I mean,
well, we had 11 apparently. You saw that.
Yeah,
Ilhan Omar a year ago said World War 11 because she didn't understand that World War II was 2. Yeah, you didn't see this?
That was awesome.
Oh my God.
That was such a relatable moment. I do that all the time.
I'm like,
here.
She should be denaturalized and deported just for that.
Right now.
Here you go. Here you go.
The Alien Enemies Act was invoked. It was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI. The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used
you're supposed to memorize that one.
German, Japanese,
That's unbelievable
Italian
to me. I'm sorry.
I want it to be a deep
doing World
I want to
War
not believe
XI.
World War 11.
She could be counting kind of these minor skirmishes as wars.
Well, no, it's because we write World War II in Roman numerals.
I know, but maybe
so
she knows
thought that
something we
9/11.
don't. Maybe she's like, when you think about Korea, that was kind of World War III.
I will stress, we're all laughing, but it would be funny if she's actually privy to classified information, and there have been 11 world wars.
Like, she's like,
guys, I was kind of like, grabbing my ear, and you didn't say it. Like, geez.
Or
Gates said he could
she's
get her
just
on the
retarded.
show. We should interview this.
Yeah, but it's
girl.
more fun to imagine that she accidentally let slip classified information, and there have been 11 world wars. We just don't know about them.
We got to keep an eye on Trump. He might let it like a Freudian slip if he's a time traveler. Like he's like, Biden fumbled the Bactria withdrawal, and it's like, Afghanistan. My bad, everyone. Sorry, that was weird. I couldn't.
I used to. My friends and I used to joke like, we all make fun of North Korea because they think Kim Jong-il was God or whatever, and they believe dumb things. But we'd be like, what if that's what we are? What if we think that we are free and we make fun of North Korea, but actually we are the exact same as there? So I give you one of my favorite conspiracy theories. This is chicken coop theory. For those that are familiar with Fermi's paradox, I believe you are familiar with that, Ian.
Love it.
You all familiar with it? Fermi's paradox is a question: if the universe is so vast and large, then why have we not encountered any other signs of intelligent life? For which there are many numerous conjectures. One is that there is intelligent life, but we can't communicate. They're too far away. One is that at any point intelligent life reaches a certain level, they destroy themselves with getting too much technology. And there's a bunch of others. One of them, my favorites, is the chicken coop theory. That is, Earth is effectively a chicken coop. Aliens are like humans do useful things like mining cobalt and gold. We can take that from them. We won't let them leave, and they effectively cage us in some way. And this plays into, the fake moon landing and all of these things. People who believe that we never went to the moon. People who believe that we can't go to space at all. This is a firmament. The chicken coop theory is that aliens don't really care what you do. Live your life, just don't fight. So, for instance, with the chicken coop, if you got a rooster that's causing problems, you will put blinders on him to try and stop fighting. Maybe that won't work, so you'll take him out or eat him. If a rooster is digging a hole trying to escape, you'll come in and patch the hole, eventually get rid of some of the problems. So for the most part, you leave the chickens alone and take their eggs. Chicken coop Earth theory is that aliens or future people or interdimensional beings have us encaged here, and we are blissfully ignorant of everything else in the universe. We'll never know, and we just live our happy little chicken lives while we look at the chickens and laugh, but we're no different.
Well, I think that it's like less about physical boundaries that we have. Like they don't want us to go certain physical places, and more so like we clearly have met intelligent life, even if you just think it's angels and demons. That's like higher entities than humans. If you want to think it's aliens, a lot of people in the government are saying that we have. So I think it's more like they create boundaries on our mind and our spirit of like where we can go spiritually and mentally and intellectually. Like it's more of like a inner prison.
Yeah, I felt ridiculed saying half the stuff I say out loud. But a lot of it turns out to be real. Like some of it's like, oh, there might be a spirit realm. Spirits actually could be real, but I sounded like an insane
there clearly
person.
is. I think that that's just like a fact of life. I don't even think that's up for debate, in my opinion. I wouldn't even care to debate it. It's like there's clearly a spiritual reality to everything around us.
So you think the aliens or the spirits or whatever create mind prisons for the humans so that they don't get near their power?
That would be like demons controlling your thoughts and keeping you in a lower, state of being. So that's what the Bible says happens.
Somebody asks, to what end? That's a stupid idea. That's right. Keep on clucking there, brother. Do you think the chickens understand you're taking their eggs from them? Sometimes, if they're broody. But for the most part, you've got chicken coops where, like our first design for our old chicken coop, if they laid an egg, we could walk up behind the coop and open a hatch, and the egg falls down and rolls. They have no idea where it went. They just lack the comprehension. So humans have, I don't say half, but a bunch of them think the earth is flat. So when you're like, to what end? We mine gold, cobalt, other resources. I'm not saying chicken coop theory Earth is true. I'm just saying aliens could be like, Jeffrey Epstein, we want your children, their food. You know what I mean? And then he'd be like, uh-oh. And most people are unaware. Do you think the chickens are aware of what I do? Like when I walk into the coop, they're probably just like, I don't know. But no idea what he's doing. And he brings food sometimes.
And I don't think it's even like physical resources. I think it's like energy harvesting.
It could be, but it could but that brings it to a level it doesn't need to go. I mean, maybe it's as simple as gold. Aliens are like, humans will mine gold, and we want to use the gold for technology, so go get it for us.
I think that's more complicated, though. The idea that there's like aliens that came from a different, Zeta Reticuli or whatever, and it's like about physical resources and physical.
No, it could be interdimensional.
Right. I just
like I think about it in terms of my chickens. Like, I don't care about their emotional state. I'm not draining their energy. I guess technically with Chicken City cameras making money off of their presence, we're kind of draining their energy, or at least monetizing their daily.
They're going to unionize one of these days.
I think it would be like
I will eat them.
I think
I will eat the first one that tries to form a union.
And your firstborn.
Well, because it's West Virginia.
No, what I will do is
California. They'd be like,
I will take that chicken, I will fry it up, take its eggs, and fry it and make a pad thai.
Oh, that'll send
chicken and its never born offspring.
That's what I love about pad thai in America, because like they don't make that in Thailand, but like chicken pad thai in America is the egg and the chicken together.
So I wonder if like the aliens or the spirit is trying to get humans to synchronize so that we can evolve our galaxy from a spiral into a spheroid. We've already collided with something. We have this plane. It's in the Milky Way. This flat plane that goes through the middle of our galaxy, indicating that we're about to become a spheroid galaxy, like either due to a past galactic collision, but something has set us up, chained us up to go to the next phase of galaxy. I don't know if it's a purely energetic harvest, or if they really want us to get gold because it's a superconductor to enhance the energetic conductance. Metallic, like I bet there's a synergy between the physical realm and the what lies beyond.
Right?
I think the physical realm, spirit affects matter, and matter, plays off of spirit. I think it like spirit is just like a layer of what all of this is. Like the table's spiritual, I'm spiritual, you're spiritual. Like the fact that we're on a podcast communicating with people all across the world is spiritual. So it's kind of like all of it is.
Right. It is also physical. Like the spirits are physical. It's just a higher frequency of physics.
Right. Like kind of like how technology is like indiscernible from magic, and it's like that's spiritual. So I think everything is spiritual.
Yeah, I think they're moving so fast that they seem invisible.
So what makes the demons bad?
Well, I think based on what they do to people, or what they influence people to do, or what they feed off of. So like if there's a demon influencing people to harm a child, then it would be, for the sake of harming a child, that's like negative energy it'd be feeding.
What about a demon that's like, I can make you very, very rich?
Well, that's never just going to be a gift, right? Like if it was just a gift, that'd probably be like an angel or from God or something.
When an angel,
if there's a trade-off that requires you to do something negative, then clearly what the demon would want is the negative thing. And why?
What if the demon is like, I'm going to give you $1 million, but you got to advocate for abortions?
Well, that's child sacrifice, which there's a lot of demons that demand that throughout history.
In the pagan realms, back in like the Celts, the Celtics, they had a lot of demons, like house demons. But demon wasn't evil; it just meant, look at all these feisty little creatures. And if you knew the difference between the demons when they came to you, you knew how to. This demon requires a bit of, Brussels sprout. If you feed this demon Brussels sprout, it will bless your family with a bountiful harvest. But if you feed it anything other than Brussels sprout, it will poison your family. And so it's not like it's more of like a trick. They're trick. I don't know. It was less about good and evil and more about knowing what each demon is so that you can interact with it properly.
Yeah, like systematized, like they had the pantheons of like, this is what this one wants and does, and this is the function of this one and that one, yeah.
Is this in the Farmer's Almanac?
I don't know if Franklin went into it. Oh, wait, is that Ben Franklin? No, he was the other guy.
Well, it comes out every year. Like the updates, like Demon.
There's a
Demon Tony was really big on broccoli.
I don't know if you guys ever read the Demon book by what is it, King David or not King David? It's some ancient demon.
Oh
book.
yeah, I know what you're talking.
What is that? You know what I'm talking about?
The Necronomicon?
No, I never.
There's a lot of demon books.
A book about demons. You know what I'm talking about?
I just want to give a shout out. I don't know if you guys noticed the caption on the tweet. You want to read that, Ian?
Oh yeah, sure.
What did I write?
Caption on the tweet. Let me. I can't read that.
Ian
it's a secret to everybody.
Yeah, what does that mean? Does anybody know?
Earth is a.
What?
Oh, I see that.
Does anybody know what that means?
Secret to everybody.
Is it coded? What does it mean?
Yeah, do you know what that means?
No.
Nobody.
Alt.
No? Nobody.
What seen beyond?
The chat is going to get very, very mad at all of you guys. Chat's going to blow up.
It's a secret to every. I don't know. It's a Hillary.
I'm waiting for the show to catch up.
Somebody's like, oh my god, I know this one.
Does the chat even know?
Of course they do. Every single person knows.
Everyone but us knows.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden. I don't.
It is a reference. Wait, what does that one say? Is anybody saying it yet? People are saying King Solomon. Are you serious?
It's King Solomon's
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, that's what
It's a secret to everybody?
Oh, I don't think it has anything to do with what you type.
It's a secret to everybody is from The Legend of Zelda. When you blow a hole in a wall and expose a Moblin's secret lair, he gives you money and then it says, it's a secret to everybody. And Americans were like, what the does that mean? Like, I go into this room, he gives me money and says, it's a secret to everybody. That means it wouldn't be a secret at all. Because what actually happened is that in Japan, the actual Japanese is he says, keep this a secret from everyone, and he gives you money. The implication was that you found a secret hideout and he was paying you not to tell anybody. However, it's a secret to everybody ends up becoming an accidental translation, which means something very interesting, which now means it is something everybody knows, but no one will say. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
We accidentally translated Japanese wrong. And now we have a phrase that means everybody knows it, but no one says it.
I wonder how often throughout human evolution we've done that, misinterpreted someone and then took it to the next level.
Every single time. What the hell does used to mean? You ever think about that?
Yeah.
Try explaining English to someone and you say like, this is the guitar pick I used to use on my old Spanish guitar. Used to use? What?
Oh, well, like Americans will be sitting around and going, no, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah.
Like,
what's
hey,
up?
I was reading.
No, yeah, I went to the, and you're like, why'd you say no, yeah?
No, yeah.
I was reading something.
yeah.
I was reading something the other day that was kind of talking about how like unsophisticated English kind of actually is compared to like older languages. About how like, you know, when we're sad, we say like, oh, I'm sad. When we're happy, we say I'm happy. Whereas like other languages, you know, translated will be like, I'm feeling happiness, I'm feeling sadness.
Right.
So it makes everyone kind of more depressed because you're like calling yourself like the embodiment of like. Rather than saying I'm feeling depressed today, it's like, oh, I am depressed. Like you're embodying it.
And they totally phoned it in naming the insect fly. This was fly.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
and
yeah,
orange.
that's so lazy.
Like, I know. What are we doing?
The blueberry. Like what?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the blue one, I guess.
seriously? Okay.
Yeah.
The orange
What's up
and
with
the
that?
fly, dude. The orange.
Well,
It's like,
hold
wow,
on.
wow, you
What?
really got
You
creative.
know the color orange word comes from the fruit, right?
I don't know that. I don't know what came first, but it's like how
I'm
rudimentary
telling
as
you right
humans we
now
are, that we're still call
that
things orange,
orange
fly.
was the name of the
Caveman.
fruit. And the English thought when someone said a naranj, they were saying an orange. And so the color orange comes from the fruit. They didn't.
I wondered
think of the fruit
about
goes,
that.
that's an orange fruit. Let's call it an orange.
Right.
No, it's the other way around.
Wow.
They actually didn't have that color, and they were like, "Oh, it's the color like orange."
To describe that that food that is
Red and yellow
so
mix.
intrinsic in what we are that we gave it a color. We named it the color it is.
And actually, it's really funny because naranj or naranja in Spanish means orange, and when the guy was saying in English, you'd say you say a naranj. So to an English speaker, it sounds like an orange. So they'd say orange.
Another good meme magic word is building. Like, what are you building? A building. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
You call it meme magic?
I guess so. Like, what are
we
it's a
doing?
verb that became a noun.
No, it's just
Following
caveman
you.
grunting. That's what it is.
I agree. That is a little. Let's get a new name. What should we call him?
Structures.
There's so many ways.
You
A
cooked with
building,
that one.
dude.
What are you building? A built?
I just don't get it.
Yeah, but also like cow and bull. Those are just references to the gender of the animal, of cattle. We just call them cows.
I know it's kind of like not PC to talk about it on TV. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Well, great. We're going to go to your Rumble rants and super chats, my friends. So smash the like button, share the show, and all that good stuff. Before we do, we got a great sponsor, my friends. It is Qualia Life Creatine. Guys, creatine's awesome. I take creatine. Shout out to Qualia Life for sponsoring the show. When we're young, our bodies naturally produce and regenerate high levels of creatine, but as we move into our 40s and beyond, that production steadily declines. The result? Less readily available energy for both our muscles and our brains. Here's the thing. You can't just toss creatine back and call it a day. It needs to actually get into your cells and be activated to its job. That's why taking it with electrolytes helps with absorption and magnesium supports activation. It's simple, and it's the reason Qualia Creatine Plus was built to work with your body, not against it. Qualia Creatine Plus combines 2 clinically studied forms of creatine with electrolytes, all chosen to support uptake and activation. Easy to mix creatine powder that dissolves smoothly in water and is the most trusted kind of creatine. A second form of creatine that helps your body turn it into the form that gives your cells energy. A precise amount of sea salt to help absorption so creatine can reach the muscles and brain cells that need it most. It's not just creatine, it's the delivery system your body needs. And it's critical for energy, metabolism, cognition, healthy aging, not just lifting like a bodybuilder. So go to qualialife.com/Timcast. Get 50% off. There's a bonus. Use code Timcast for an additional 15% off your order. That's QUALIA life.com/Timcast. Use code Timcast. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring this show. Let's grab your rants and super chats right here. John Rambo says, new game plus, perhaps weaponizing the mentally ill until you give back control, give up your rights, and agree to censorship. It was only a matter of time before the war on terror came home. Pims the Great says he didn't want to hurt Cash because he's brown and the guy's a liberal. That very well may be.
That makes sense.
Gage Ramsey the same thing. It's because Cash is the only one that's not white.
Yeah. Better theory than I had, which was none.
Yeah.
Bill says they made a really critical error this time. You never endanger the wife of a madman. Oftentimes she is the regulator to the madman's rage. You've been watching Daredevil, I imagine. Have you guys been watching Daredevil?
I have not been.
It's actually really good. The new Daredevil season. Very impressed. There's spoilers, but there is a reference. I won't spoil it. I mean, this is last week's episode, but actually no, I will because it was last week's episode. Wilson Fisk's wife dies. He's a kingpin. And now he's going to go insane and just massacre everybody because his wife died. There's nothing holding him back anymore.
I don't know enough about the Daredevil universe.
Brucein says, Minocqua Brewing Company has a standing offer of free beer if Trump is assassinated. They posted on their social media. They were disappointed on the failed attempt. There has been no media coverage. I've seen a bunch on social media about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like in this like small Wisconsin town too. So
yeah,
you know, this idea that this is just resigned to Brooklyn or something or San Francisco. It's like, no, it's everywhere in the whole country.
KO says, I prefer the funny retard conspiracy theories like Flat Earth, not the psycho retard theories like Trump faked an assassination to build a ballroom.
Yeah, literally.
That's so stupid.
Literally.
We're going to build this ballroom. I need someone to pretend to kill me.
It's okay, you're going to ruin your life, but it's for the ballroom. I know you're a lifelong liberal and everything points to that, but you're going to have to do this. And he's like, okay, Mr. President, whatever it takes.
Every failed assassination attempt will desensitize people to the next failed assassination. So you don't want to use those things.
Yep. Octavia says, Tim, they are just calling for a ballroom like Dems call for gun control. Plus, our demo calling for gun control now? You mean our Dems? I don't know. El Jefe Lopez says, but it's not fake when a conservative goes after a liberal, even though it's usually fake and gay. What is that a reference to? I don't know. What? Evan for US says, could the high volume of searches for Cole Allen imply that people are trying to see what he looks like? Maybe to see whether or not to woo over him. Well, I mean, maybe some people. The fact is, when people hear about this, the search term wasn't Trump assassination. The search term wasn't Trump shooter or White House shooter. The search term was Cole Allen. They were searching for more information on what was going on.
I want to see the words that pop up with his name the most likely. Is it like Cole Allen, sundress? Like, what are people looking for?
Well, I think the way that the Trend Aggregator works is it consolidates all related terms into the most searched terms. So the most people were searching Cole Allen, everything else got consolidated into that.
Probably Trump would be the next biggest word.
Jay Hamblin says, Tim, to your point on her filming herself, don't you have to swap your camera to front facing? Indeed, you do. Which means that she opened her camera, switched it to her own face, and was like looking at it. It's like, you're filming yourself. Why? You know, are you going to do a trick? You know,
that would have been cool if she did a trick.
If she stands up and backflips with the camera in her hand.
The mentalist can't come up, so everyone got a show. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. I'd support her.
All right. I'm not your buddy, guy. Says a reality we must face. They desire our deaths. Correct.
I don't like it.
I mean, Hassan Piker said it over and over again. These people are psychotic.
Some people really are. Sometimes.
John says, the vehicle you keep calling a Cybertruck in Animal Farm is clearly a Lamborghini there, Tim. No, there is a Lamborghini. That's one vehicle. She is in a silver Cybertruck that's driving backwards. It is not a Lamborghini. It's got a short back, flat, like angled, and then straight front. And if it was driving this way, you'd be like, that's a Cybertruck. But it drives the other way, so it's like not a Cybertruck. It has wheel wells too. Not a Lamborghini. The scene you're referring to is when Napoleon drives in a Lambo, and some people have said it looks pointed like a Tesla. But Elon Musk's mom in the film is driving a Cybertruck. For that, the Animal Farm production crew would not come to debate, and the Angel Studio guys would not come to debate either. The movie is pro-communist slop, anti-capitalist, and I'll give you the quick rundown now here. I did a full rundown on my morning show channel. The film is about a bunch of happy animals living on a farm. The farmer can't pay his mortgage, so the bank sells the property to Frida Pilkington, Elon Musk's mom, who is going to liquidate the animals to a meat processing slaughterhouse to recoup some of the assets, effectively a private equity deal or auction acquisition. The animals fight back and then promise the bank they will pay off the mortgage, so they all team up to raise money by selling their goods. When the pigs go to pay the mortgage off, the banker tells them they actually raised too much money and there's profit. So the pigs go shopping with it. The animals get mad that all the excess labor, all their profit is being taken by the pigs. The main pig, Napoleon, then gets a credit card to pay off the car and the clothes that he buys, but finds out in order to pay off a credit card, you need magic paper, that's what they call it, every single month. So he enters into a private equity deal with Frida Pilkington to liquidate the farm's assets once again, selling off the animals so she can build a hydroelectric dam that he'll get a clean payout on. The animals then plant a bunch of explosives in the dam, blowing it up, killing all of her employees, and then basically say it's better to have nothing than have these oppressors. So there's your movie. And the end. All right, what do we got here? What is this? Mr. Bag 007 says, Tim, do you know about the agenda passed to enforce all new cars to essentially be government surveillance devices starting 2027?
Terrifying.
It's so far over the line and no one is talking about it. People need to know. Is that where there's going to be cameras in the car facing you as you drive?
Yes.
Tesla's already do that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Thomas
And Republicans voted for it too.
Tesla's already do this, and so what people have done is they buy those Homer Simpson glasses that have fake eyeballs on them, and you put it on and go to sleep, and the Tesla thinks you're driving.
It's crazy. Is it like if you run a red light, the car will pull over? And
It's well, that's like automatically
no, Ian. You won't be driving the car at all by the time we get to that point. There will be no red lights. There will be no green lights. Every car will be automated, and you will not be allowed to drive it.
Oh, but in the meantime, will it? Massey called it a kill switch bill, so I don't know if that means that the car literally remotely.
It's that if you are driving and it notices your eyes are not looking, it'll pull over and stop or something like that.
And other, I don't know. I don't know the extent of the power.
The purpose of this bill is not the purpose of this bill is not to create a draconian "we're stopping your car." It is step one in creating an all autonomous driving circumstance. So the first thing you do is you have to create it in layers. You can't just be like, we hereby ban all personal vehicles. To get there, you have to go increments. So the first thing they're going to do is going to say, we have a right to commandeer a vehicle in the event of emergencies. And people go, well, I guess that's fine. Sooner or later, they're going to be like, you're only allowed to drive in emergencies. So the car will drive itself, and you can only grab the steering wheel if an emergency is happening. And then in 10 years, there will be no steering wheel.
Because there'll be no emergencies.
The cars will all have seats facing each other. You'll sit down, and then you'll
and they'll be like, remember, citizen, you are in a constant state of emergency.
We're going
emergency.
And you won't own vehicles anymore.
Emergency.
It'll all be Uber. It'll all be just apps.
Because of the foreign intervention and constant emergency, your rights have been curtailed.
No, Ian, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. So what's going to happen is you won't own a car anymore. You'll go on your app and say, I need a car. And within a minute, a car will pull up to your house. When you get in the car, there'll be no traffic because they're all synchronized by AI driving themselves. So as you're entering the highway, the cars slow down and speed up ever so slightly to create space for you to enter in. You never stop. And because the cars are all AI, they can start and stop instantly together. So there will never be traffic ever again. That's what they're trying to do.
Never be an accident either, right?
Well, there will be accidents due to weather. So there could be an ice patch an automatic car can't do anything about. But when a car recognizes traction problems, all the cars can instantly swarm out of the way. So it spins and all the cars just whoosh. Isn't that crazy?
And it'll reduce pileups because the cars will know if there's something up ahead. Like birds, maybe it'll be able to track birds.
There'll be big charging stations where they've already discussed wireless charging for vehicles where the car can pull over a base with wireless charging plates and just sit there and it gets blasted.
They did that in England. There's like a 10-mile stretch, at least 10 years ago, where they were experimenting with the car will charge as it drives over this 10-mile.
So there's going to be cars constantly in charge being dispatched. You'll open the app and you'll just get a car and it'll bring you where you want to go. And then you'll pay, Uber fees. No drivers, fully automatic. No one will own cars anymore. And it also gets rid of trains. It gets rid of buses.
Seems too good to be true. I was told once by a great man, if it seems too good to be true, it probably
Why does it seem too good to be true?
What do we do with all the Bangladeshis?
How do you get to the mountains with that?
It drives you.
All the way?
Yes.
I don't know if it can yet.
Yes, they can.
Maybe in 100.
You will select Auto XL, and it'll be like 4x4. It's like, I'm going camping, I need the vehicle. And then you'll be like, I need to reserve the vehicle for the weekend. And it'll go bing, and it'll be like, the car's coming.
What if you want to go off-road?
Well, that'll also kind of like remove the possibility of like exploration for most people. It's like, will you be able to off-road? Will you be?
No, because you'll live in your 15-minute city. You can't leave.
Exactly. So it's still limiting your human potential, which goes back to like demons. You can look at it like that too, like demons controlling people. It's like they put limits on your mind of what you can do.
We're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show, so smash the like button, share the show, and all the good stuff. It's going to be at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Don't miss it. But in the meantime, you can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Adam, do you want to shout anything out?
Well, thanks for having us, and we'll catch you on the Rumble channel. And quite a weekend here that we went through, and we're glad that the president's safe. And thanks for having us, Tim.
Right on. You want to shout anything out, Blaire?
I guess just my YouTube, my social media. Just Google me and you'll find me.
Yeah, I want to push people over to your Twitter page, Adam. It's Adam Matthew.
At Adam Matthew, please follow me there, or Adam5PR on Instagram. I do a lot of stories. You'll see my activity more on Instagram.
I've been feeling kind of
more Gen Z, so I'm more of an Instagram type.
I love it.
My mood lately has been kind of like I'm trying to like force myself to love other people again. I've been really internal, like focusing on myself and improving myself, but to the detriment. And I wonder if that has something to do with like, me, Matt. Like if it, I don't know, I just got to find love for others and. Anyway, that's where my head's at. Tate Brown, talk me out.
Yeah, X and Instagram at Real Tate Brown. And I know a few English mistranslations, as in they were in one language and now we say something completely separate. So join the after show and I'll disclose a few of them that I can remember off the top of my head. Carter.
Yeah, excited to get into the after show. You can follow me on X at Carter Banks and on Instagram at Carter Banks Official. Follow our label at Trash House Records on YouTube. And thanks, Blaire and Adam, for coming out. Let's get into the after show.
We'll see you guys at rumble.com/Timcast IRL right now. Thanks for hanging out.